Hey, what is going on? How you doing? How you doing? Ladies and gentlemen, ghosts and goblins, witches and wizards, vampires and werewolves. We are currently live. Please just give me a few minutes here to set up the live stream, get all the details ready to go, and we will be all set here for our live stream, which will be Game 6 between the Buffalo Sabres and the Montreal Canadiens. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for checking out the channel. Once again, please just give me a couple minutes here to get everything all set and ready to go, and we will be ready here in just a couple minutes. Emiliana, it's been so long since you texted me. I finally took a break and now it feels like I'm on ecstasy. You said what my work means to me will one day be the death of me. They tried to kill me once, but darling, you just resurrected me. Emiliana. Emiliana, it's been so long since you texted me. How you doing? How y'all doing out there tonight? Hope everybody is ready for a Game 6. I know I am. Emiliana. Emiliana, it's been so long since you texted me. Finally took a break and now I feel like I'm on ecstasy. You said what my work means to me will one day be the death of me. They tried to kill me once. Darling, you just resurrected me. Emiliana, it's been so long since you texted me. I finally took a break and now I feel like I'm on ecstasy. You said what my work means to me will one day be the death of me. They tried to kill me once, but darling, you just resurrected me. Okay. Emiliana. Emiliana, it's been so long since you texted me. Okay, the details on the live stream should be all set and ready to go. So what I'm going to do now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to take a moment here to share it to my social media, basically just my Twitter X right now. And we will be all good to go for Game 6, starting a little bit later tonight at 8, but that's because everybody else has pretty much eliminated their opponents from round 2, besides the Sabres and the Canadiens. Emiliana, it's been so long since you texted me. Emiliana. All right, sounds good. Let's share it, ladies and gentlemen, and we will be all good to go for our live stream here. Emiliana, it's been so long since you texted me. Emiliana, it's been so long since you texted me. I finally took a break and now I feel like I'm on ecstasy. You said what my work means to me will one day be the death of me. They tried to kill me once, but darling, you just resurrected me. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we should be all good to go here. I am about to share the live stream to the social media. Optic Gaming just defeated fucking the Riyadh Falcons. The boys, brick by brick, holding it down. I guess some kind of dream hack tournament in Atlanta going on. They made it to the winners final against Toronto. That's all you got to know. Toronto, right up the street from your boy here in Buffalo. Not too far away at all. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We are all good to go for our live stream. Let me just take a minute again, make sure we are good. Okay, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghosts and Goblins, Witches and Wizards, Vampires and Werewolves. I am live tonight for Game 6. The Buffalo Sabres are playing in Montreal, Quebec, against the Canadiens. The Sabres failed to win the big game. Now their back is against the wall. The question is, can Buffalo force a Game 7 and bring the series back to Buffalo one more time? And one final game in this round 2 matchup between the Sabres and the Canadiens. But tonight, Canadiens have the advantage. They're playing home ice tonight. They got the puck. Hockey night in Canada. It is Game 6 at the Bell. The Sabres and the Canadiens. Hockey night in Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, Saturday night playoff hockey doesn't get much better than this. But again, as we all know, Sabres really failed to win the big one when it mattered. All tied up at 2 apiece in the series. And now back against the wall, being one game away from elimination technically. Sabres defense really has to buckle down here, as my father would tell me when he didn't like my report card back in the day. Sabres, you really got to fucking buckle down, and you got to get your shit together, because tonight the season could possibly end for the Buffalo Sabres. Playing in Montreal once again. Shout out to all the snow bunnies, all the baddies out there in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. They are getting ready for Game 6 tonight. We are watching it on ABC Channel 7 in Buffalo, New York on my Hulu. So kind of strange how it's not an ESPN game, but we'll take it. It's free for all the people out there watching in Buffalo. And since we are just starting, a little bit of time here, 26 minutes, about 25 minutes away from puck drop over there in Montreal. Since we are talking about it, the law in New York, ladies and gentlemen, I was a security guard for the Sabres, so I do know the law here. Please, if you're going out tonight, treat each other with respect, have your parties, do what you got to do. Everybody's trying to make it home. You're not trying to end up and make it somewhere else. But exactly, the law is in New York, people can fight at any given moment. It's allowed here. The police really don't give a damn too much. Happens all the time, ladies and gentlemen. There's bars on like every corner in Buffalo, New York. So the police don't care if people get into a little scrap, a little fight here and there, a little altercation. They got bigger problems than your drunken ass getting into a fight with somebody over nothing. Way bigger problems out there in the real world and in the city alone. But technically, the law says two parties, if they agree to fight each other, it is allowed in Buffalo and New York. So that is the law. That's just the way they look at it. If one party doesn't agree to the fight, that's when it becomes assault and when it becomes attack. Now the other party is going to do something out of self-defense, right? But if two parties do come to an agreement to fight each other, they've both come to an agreement to fight each other. So it is all allowed in the city of Buffalo, in the state of New York. They're not going to give a damn too much. Like I said, a lot of people out there tonight most likely having some parties. We're not technically doing a watch party because we're not big enough for the watch party. We're just kind of doing the watch along, just chilling. Like I said, maybe one day we'll get to the point where we can actually have some watch parties. But that's why I never call them watch parties, because it's not a party. A party to me is like me chilling with my friends. We got pizza, we got chicken wings. One day, maybe, I'll be able to get the office building or something. It'll look like the watch party with Scump when he was just watching the boys take down the Riyadh Falcons. We'll be able to stream with maybe, 3-4 of my buddies, have a special guest, who knows. But it's definitely not a watch party. It's just a watch along. And that's all it's going to be for the time being until we can kind of take it to that next step here on YouTube. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you again so much for checking out the channel. What the hell? Okay. Nope, we are all good. Just want to make sure. So recently, they have released the Buffalo Bills schedule for next season. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. There is KeyBank Center in downtown Buffalo. They are getting ready for Game 6. It is in Montreal, Quebec tonight, so not too sure why they're showing off the Sabres arena. Maybe it looks like they actually have some fans there, so they must be doing some kind of watch party over at the Sabres arena tonight. Well, there you go. So you got a whole watch party going on at the Buffalo Sabres arena. 23 minutes away from the actual puck drop. I know they announced the draft also coming up in June, very soon here for Buffalo. So the 2026 NHL draft going to be in Buffalo. Not that big of an announcement to me. We do have a lot of the young prospects, and it's great to see everybody get accepted to their teams or at least get some contract offers. But it's not as big as an announcement of that 2008 Winter Classic between my two favorite teams, the Sabres and the Penguins. It's not that big, ladies and gentlemen. It's not that huge, Buffalo, huge. But for the Buffalo Bills season in 2026, big games for me. They're playing on my birthday. And the crazy thing about it is they're playing the Oakland Raiders. My dad used to take me to Buffalo Bills and Oakland Raider games all the time. I think we had some family that used to stay out in Oakland. Most of my family on my dad's side used to live in Maryland and Washington, D.C. There was one time where he actually he wanted to take me out to Washington to go meet everybody, and I sucked at school. I got bad grades, so I had to go to summer school. He did not like that. He really resented me for that a lot of my life. He definitely resented me for that a lot of my life because I could not go meet my family on his side of the family. I was like, dude, I don't know what to tell you. Never failed a grade in my life, but I got to go make up this bullshit out here in the summer. Thank God those days are over. The Buffalo Bills and the Oakland Raiders are going to be playing, well, I still call them the Oakland Raiders. The Las Vegas Raiders, as we have them now, will be playing on my birthday, October 18th. So I'm thinking maybe that'll be a stream for us to kind of check out here on the channel, be able to do something special for my birthday. Yeah, crazy enough, the last time that I went to the Bills Stadium in person, 2011, we had Ryan Fitzpatrick as a quarterback. We played a game against the Oakland Raiders. He took me to the game the same day that they were playing against the Oakland Raiders. There was a WWE event in Buffalo too. It was Night of Champions 2011. And I remember him exactly asking me, hey, which one do you want to go see more? You can only get to pick one, right? Because you can't have both. We can't afford that kind of lifestyle, ladies and gentlemen. But the Bills were playing in the morning. And, of course, the WWE event was around 8 o'clock at night. So it was one or the other. I picked the Bills game against the Oakland Raiders because I never got to go see Buffalo Bills games growing up. We didn't have money to get tickets and have that opportunity in my life. My dad was a plumber, so it was really rare. I would watch most of the games with him when he would go out to drink at bars, and either I'd be at his house, at the apartment and shit. But going to the actual stadium, there was times, he tried to take me like every year, but the last time I ever went before he passed away in 2012, we seen that game against the Oakland Raiders. And we ended up coming back and winning. We were like down the whole game, and the boys ended up coming back with Ryan Fitzpatrick. So crazy game, won it. Got to go home and watch WWE on pay-per-view that night. Ended up ordering Night of Champions. And the main event that night was CM Punk versus Triple H. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, it's crazy how all these things in my life somehow seem to come full circle one day or the other. But the Buffalo Bills will be playing the Las Vegas Raiders on my birthday, so I figured, hey, why not check that one out? They're also going to be playing on Thanksgiving and Christmas Day next season. So we got some really big games. The Thanksgiving one I'm definitely interested in. I haven't figured out yet. I haven't gotten too far into deciding what I'm going to do for specials on the channel this year regarding like Thanksgiving streams and Christmas streams. The Thanksgiving one, though, sounds nice because it will be the Kansas City Chiefs against the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo. It's the first time, apparently, we're hosting a Thanksgiving game here in Buffalo, New York. So there you go. We got the Buffalo Bills, new stadium, brand new stadium. I'm still a little, trying to be on the fence here about the whole Joe Brady situation. Sean McDermott is still out there looking at us like, okay, guys, good luck. You're going to have to still get past the Kansas City Chiefs. You're going to still have to get past the Denver Broncos. I think it's going to be an interesting season, coaching-wise, to see actually how these things fucking play out for the Bills here because I'm a bit worried. Sean McDermott had a lot of success for us over the years. I don't know if we're immediately just going to walk through the door of a new stadium and have that kind of same success that he was able to do for us. But it's a new season on the horizon. Apparently, the Buffalo Bills have one of the hardest schedules they've given us. Again, I'm not the one that gets hired to come up with these schedules. Couldn't tell you whose job that is. They get paid a pretty penny to give the Buffalo Bills, though, one of the hardest schedules in 2026 with all the shit that we've been through. That is definitely going to be interesting to see how those play out. On Christmas, the Buffalo Bills are actually going to play against the Denver Broncos. I believe that's in Denver. So, since we are talking about the Buffalo Bills, and we still have some time here to hang out, I did want to show you guys some memorabilia that I have. So here's some Sabres stuff that I do own. Shout out to the Fallout collection. There's Sweet Tooth chilling. But here's a little bit of the Sabres stuff. We got a gold coin. And then this is like a really cool plaque. If I can get more light here, which I can. This is like a really cool plaque that I have where it was in celebration of the Sabres' 50th season. So from 1970 to 2020. And this has all the boys on there. Jack Eichel's autograph. Linus Ullmark. Definitely some standouts. Bitch-ass Dahlin's on there. Fucking Sam Reinhart. This was from their 50th season again. So Victor Olofsson, Golofsson, as I like to call him, Colin Miller, Brandon Montour. I mean, what happened to the defense, honestly? What the fuck happened to the defense? We even have, where is he? Casey Middlestat right there, who just ended up playing against us for the Boston Bruins. So nice to have that plaque, at least in my room. Shout out to the Dark Knight. There's my Batman clock. It doesn't work anymore, but Batman still watches over Gotham City. And I like it because it's like a broken record. So that is really cool. But what I really want to show you, there's the Sabres card collection. Please don't pay attention to the dirty ass wall. I know it's dirty back there. I know it's dirty back there. Your boy understands the situation. Here is a little bit of a picture with me and my dad back in the day. But what's really cool is I have this autograph right here from Jim Kelly. I actually met Jim Kelly, and I'll tell you a story of how I actually met Jim Kelly, but I keep this here because that always stuck with my dad. Always left that with my dad, so that stays there in that picture. That was my dad's plaque of Jim Kelly that I gave him like one day, I think 1 year for Father's Day or his birthday. But I definitely remember that being with him, so that was like one thing that I've always kept. Jim Kelly was his favorite player. So when I met Jim Kelly, I was at summer camp in Buffalo. Let me bring the chair back. The day I met Jim Kelly, let's have a little bit of story time here with Demonic while we wait about another 15 minutes. Yeah, 15 minutes and 5 seconds before puck drop in Montreal. Game 6 at the Bell, ladies and gentlemen. Hockey night in Canada. Saturday night playoff hockey. It is in Montreal, Quebec. Shout out to all the snow bunnies and the baddies out there in Montreal tonight who bought tickets to watch the Sabres at Montreal Canadiens. As I was saying, story time with Demonic. The day I met Jim Kelly, I was at summer camp in Buffalo. Now, when I actually did finish summer school, I would have to wait until like just about like August until I could actually go to camp and enjoy some free time in the summer. And then, of course, school would start up right again in September. But the day I met Jim Kelly, I used to go to a summer camp called Cradle Beach. They literally had the place where we used to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It was called the Jim Kelly House as a tribute to Jim Kelly. Not only that, his son Hunter had an entire cabin dedicated just to him. Not only just him, but it was dedicated to all the children there who were living with disabilities or just handicapped, couldn't exactly function as properly as some of the other campers and children, of course, some of the other blessed individuals in life. But Jim Kelly's son, Hunter, did attend the same camp that I used to go to. So Jim Kelly would make appearances at the camp all the time just to greet the campers, say hello. I remember the second I met Jim Kelly, the second I heard I was going to meet Jim Kelly, I was so excited. First time I was ever going to meet some kind of a celebrity or anybody famous here in Buffalo, New York. My dad used to tell me stories of him all the time. This was my dad's favorite player. And my dad used to play football for Lackawanna. He used to be a guard. So the offense was really important to my dad. That goes to show you the kind of dude my dad was. I would describe my dad's personality as a combination of Robert De Niro and The Undertaker, Mark Calloway. So there you go. But his favorite player was always Jim Kelly, so I remember being so excited when I heard this dude was going to make an appearance. And first thing, I ran up to him and I'm like, my dad is such a big fan. You're his favorite player. Please, let me get the autograph. I'm going to take it back to him. I'm going to give it to him. He's never going to believe that his own flesh and blood had the chance to meet his favorite player, a player I never had the opportunity or the chance to even experience all the great things he did for the Bills and taking us to 4 Super Bowls and everything, right? But my dad was certainly there. And Lackawanna football was important to my dad because, again, my mom and dad, they came from Lackawanna. So a lot of the Bethlehem steel plant was really a part of their childhood and in their blood and a lot of their history growing up. But Jim Kelly, I'll never forget, he signed it for me and I take it back to my dad. I was so happy. That thing, stuck with my dad until the day he passed away. And now it's with me. But yeah, the cool thing about Cradle Beach, too, the summer camp that I used to attend, and since it's a football story, it is related to football. That's where I have the one award in my studio where all the counselors signed it because they that's where I got the award for the future M&M because everybody just realized, my God, I have this hidden talent or whatever. We were all the campers were just kind of like expressing themselves one way or another. Some kids they had the goods at sports, and some kids they fucking could draw really fucking good, and I could just make music. So I figured I would show people that, and they gave me the award. But the same year I was there for that, being a PC is essentially like one step below trying to become a counselor, and you get a lot of one-on-one time with a lot more of the handicapped and the disabled children, and trying to help them and trying to kind of be a mentor to them. So basically, I remember the one day where they assigned me a buddy, and the kid was absolutely paralyzed. I mean, he was in a wheelchair. He never played sports a day in his life, and they assigned me him. So we just had maybe it was like a 30-45 minute session of just spend some time with your buddy and hang out, give them the opportunity to kind of enjoy life for a little bit. So I grabbed the football and I just decided, what, I'm going to teach this kid how to throw a football, and taught him how to throw and catch the football. He had never done this before in his life, and the counselors were really impressed in that I was able to actually do that for somebody in a wheelchair who had never played sports, or nobody had ever really figured, hey, this kid's ever going to throw and catch a football. So they were really impressed with that. And after that, that's kind of when they started to notice a little bit more of my ability to create music and write music. And yeah, I never really went back to become a counselor because I had a lot of depression and a lot of hard times growing up dealing with suicidal thoughts and things of my own. And I just didn't really have the proper guidance or anybody to talk to at that point in my life. So for me, myself, I had to focus on other things other than try to be there for other kids and try to help them in their lives and everything. But nothing wrong with it. But that is essentially how I met Jim Kelly. He used to stop by the camp all the time. Hunter's Cabin, I'm sure, still exists. And that cabin is, again, dedicated to all the kids that are just dealing with those kind of problems in life and just don't really have the benefit like some of us do, that we take for granted, all the simple things that we take for granted on a daily basis. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, we are getting ready officially for Game 6 at the Bell Hockey Night in Canada. I'm sorry, I got to keep fixing my chair here because I don't have my sword behind it. We got them on standby here. We got the Sabres on standby for when the blades need to be drawn, ladies and gentlemen, for when the Sabres strike and blood is drawn on the ice. The blades will be drawn. But right now they are on standby. They're on hold until we got fucking enemy movement. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is Game 6. The Sabres and the Canadiens. Once again, Sabres lost the big one in Buffalo tonight. Game 6 in Montreal. Can Buffalo Sabres force a Game 7 and bring this thing back to Buffalo, New York? I'm sure all the fans would love nothing more than to see it happen. Current time here in Buffalo, 7:52. So just a few more minutes away from actual puck drop in Montreal. Quick little reminder, it is summer, ladies and gentlemen. Summer is around the corner. Spring just about to end here. So a lot of summer blockbusters coming out as well this year. Good movies coming out. Please take some time to go out. Check out some nice movies. Enjoy yourself this summer. And see something that you're actually interested in watching. Me, I know with my mom being at the theater, I have the ability to go see some things all the time now. We're going to go see the new Scary Movie, but the one that there's a couple that I'm actually really interested in. For sure, The Odyssey, Batman 2, and I really would like to see Fockers in Law with Robert De Niro and that boy Ben Stiller. Yeah, it's going to happen around Thanksgiving. Fockers in Law, another Focker movie. Interestingly enough, the last time they made a Focker movie Little Fockers. My dad took me to see that again. My dad's favorite movie genre was comedy. He never liked horror. He thought horror movies were fucking ridiculous. He never liked horror movies, but he loved comedy. That was his favorite genre. Aside from that, of course, he would see the Martin Scorsese and the Quentin Tarantino movies and everything with me. But comedy was by far his favorite. A lot of fucking a lot of Adam Sandler, a lot of Adam Sandler movies, Jim Carrey, yeah, Bruce Almighty. Shout out to Bruce Almighty and Jim Carrey. Can the Sabres get it done in Game 6? We will find out. Well, my dad, his favorite movie genre was comedy movies when I really think about it. Hated horror movies with a passion. He did not like them. But his favorites were definitely comedies. He just loved to laugh and he loved to have a good time. His favorite music was disco and Motown, and his favorite kind of movies were comedy. So my dad definitely liked to sit back and enjoy a little bit of time. So if you have the opportunity, yourself, go out and see some movies. I know they're coming out with the new Spider-Man, new Resident Evil as well. Your boy loves his Resident Evil. A lot of things. I mean, the whole year. We got a whole Acme Roadrunner versus Wile E. Coyote with John Cena. I don't know, chat. I'm going to check it out because I love Looney Tunes with a passion, and John Cena's in it, so I got to fucking watch it. Once you got John Cena in the movie, I mean, I basically have signed a blood contract at that point. I'm just like, okay, I'm going to have to sit down and see this thing at some point in time. I've agreed to the terms. I've accepted the Apple iTunes contract. It's okay. We're going to have to sign the fucking blood oath to watch the John Cena movie. I've been doing it ever since his first movie in 2006. When we had an October storm here in Buffalo, nobody was expecting it. Absolutely historic storm, ladies and gentlemen. Put us out of school for weeks. Electricity was cut down. Power was shut down. And your boy was just enjoying every second of it. But I do remember on my birthday, my dad, John Cena, and the Marine was the first movie ever out with John Cena. And he took me to the movie theater where I ended up working at one point in time, and now my mom works there. So, again, ladies and gentlemen, some of these things just seem to find a way of finding me in my life. But, yeah, I'll never forget John Cena, the Marine. First time ever seeing him in a movie, and we've come this far. He's on the process of becoming Rock, which is great in a lot of ways. Because you guys know The Rock is my all-time favorite wrestler. The Rock and Bret Hart are definitely up there. John Cena's worked his way up there. If I had to give a Mount Rushmore, if I had to give a personal top 5 of like my all-time top 5 Mount Rushmore, like the GOATs, it's going to be The Rock, Bret the Hitman Hart, John Cena, Randy Orton, and The Undertaker. And there's so many more that I'm not including on there that definitely should be on there. Mick Foley, personal favorite of mine. There's a lot on there that I'm not including, but I'd have to say, yeah, that's probably like my Mount Rushmore and personal like top 5. We are about 3 minutes away from puck drop in Montreal, and they like to actually be on time. So I expect them to actually drop that motherfucker. Drop that motherfucker. Drop the bass. In about 3 minutes. I don't know. This is an advertisement for Bossy. Not really a fan of Bossy. I know other people like it in Buffalo. Like I said, my favorite pizza is more New York style pizza. Bossy, I think I've had them before, but just, again, not really my favorite when it comes to the sauce. I'm Italian, ladies and gentlemen, so you got fucking really come with it when you fucking make a pizza and you got sauce on it. You really got to bring it to really impress me. That's one of the reasons I don't like Imperial, because their sauce is way too sweet. It's way too thick. And I like thick. I like my thick, but not on a fucking pizza. I like it to be basically cheese, thin, fucking New York style, thin, fucking way more cheese than there is sauce. I don't want this motherfucker dripping all over the place. Like you bitch. on a Saturday night after the Sabres and the Canadiens do battle in Montreal is the sauce is just way too sweet. Imperial is my brother's favorite. So my brother Tom, he's been eating Imperial a lot. It's a staple here in South Buffalo and Lackawanna. I know people at the Sabres Arena, they got Lenovo. But I can tell you firsthand, Lenovo, firsthand experience working at the arena, it is not the same. It is not the same quality. So anybody, if you expect to buy the same quality, you will not get it at the Sabres Arena. I promise you. Actually, call the pizzeria and order Lenovo if you want that kind of quality at the arena. They're just kind of getting the ingredients from whatever warehouse or wherever they get them shipped from, and they'll make the pizzas in house. It's not they got a partnership with Lenovo. Yeah, it's the brand name on the product, but it's not the same product. I know that firsthand experience. And it's unfortunate. I would say though, if you go to the Sabres Arena, here's what I'll tell you. Actually working there, instead of trying to get the thing that you're used to getting, like the fucking slice of pizza and the pop or fucking whatever, the hot dog and the pop combination, try to walk around a bit and actually get the things that are a bit more rare. And they actually have like game exclusive items. So they'll do like loaded nachos, loaded hot dogs and things. I've actually seen locations where they have like homemade burritos and just really exclusive stuff to just games that you can get at that night. Homemade that day, fucking ready to go, not been sitting there or anything. I would stay away from the things you're kind of typical used to getting. Your kind of predictability, if you will, when it comes to selecting items when you want to go out to an enjoy event. And that's a bit unfortunate because, yeah, they are a bit more expensive when we talk about the things like the loaded nachos and shit. I've always enjoyed a nice walking taco, right? You know what I'm saying? Get your sister into DMs a little walking taco. But for me, I would say if you want to spend the money, really fucking get something where you're going to actually be happy with it and it might actually feel like, yeah, that was kind of worth it. And if it's not, it's not. You're going to know, hey, I'm never buying that again. But at least you know you tried something different. You got to experience life a little bit for once. And just like PK Subban is experiencing life right now, he is ready to go in Montreal. But yeah, guys, you gotta stay away from the pizza. You gotta stay away from the hot dogs. You gotta stay away from the things that you're used to getting, pretzels, all the basic stuff, nachos. You can basically like make that stuff at home, and it's the exact same ingredients. I promise you, it is the exact same ingredients that they're selling you at the arena, and you can just make it at home for way cheaper, and you're gonna be way more happier with the result. So, I would stay away from the basic kind of predictable things that you like. I remember the last time when I actually went to watch an AEW event in Buffalo. I don't carry any kind of like actual. I don't carry my bank card on me or like actual any money on me when I go places. If I do go places, I gotta have the cash on me or I don't have nothing. So I go to the arena and now they've done this thing where it's just become, you can no longer have cash transactions, which I think sucks because I basically watched a 2-part wrestling event. It was AEW Dynamite and AEW Rampage back to back. I was there for like 3-4 hours. Didn't have anything to drink. Didn't have anything to eat. I was cool with it though because again, I'm just there for the wrestling. I'm not really there for the other shit. Got myself a wrestling shirt with all the wrestlers on it. CM Punk is actually on that shirt, so that's a pretty fucking rare shirt. I remember asking for a program guide. They don't sell program guides anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I grew up at a time where you could go to the arena, you could get an entire book. I got a picture with TNA where I'm holding up I got a picture with Kurt Angle where I'm holding up the TNA program, and they just don't make programs anymore. You could get the whole book, and if you had a chance to meet wrestlers in real life, you could get their autograph, have a whole book of autographs. Those things are far out of our reach now, ladies and gentlemen. Now you got to fucking spend money on championships. Maybe you get all your favorite wrestlers or something to sign the championship, what have you. Trading cards have obviously always been one of my favorite things, so I think now it's cool that people are actually buying the trading cards a lot more and getting into that. Growing up, my favorite was always Yu-Gi-Oh! I love the Dragon Ball Z trading cards, which I think is kind of rare. I don't see a lot of people doing the Dragon Ball Z trading cards. But growing up, man, them fucking Dragon Ball Z trading cards, Garbage Pail Kids. I know it's not really like a fucking trading card game, but the Garbage Pail Kids, man. Oh, man, when times were good, chat. When times were good. We had Yu-Gi-Oh! We had fucking Dragon Ball Z cards. We had fucking Garbage Pail Kids. Pokemon was always alright with me, but I definitely was more of a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan. Konami, right? So they definitely kind of sparked my interest a little bit more. Strategy-wise, also, just a way better game for me to get involved with. I miss the days when Yu-Gi-Oh! Was really basic and we could actually play. I play with house rules, so if you don't know what that means, if you don't gamble, if you don't go to the fucking poker table too often, house rules are basically like homemade rules where I can come up with whatever the fuck I want to come up with, but it's a lot more, I feel like, identical to the cartoon. Like, I actually come up with rules that are pretty similar to the anime, so we can actually use cards that are banned. Pot of Greed is a card that is banned in real life. In my deck, in my personal deck, I can actually use banned cards. I have no card limit. I play with no card limit. We play with more health points. There's one, I've always wanted to show off the Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck. I've always wanted to show off the personal deck. Never have, because it's technically not completed. They keep fucking making brand new cards every year, and I can't afford to fucking upgrade the deck. But I have been thinking about maybe doing a deck profile and showing it off a little bit. I'll give you this hint. The main engine, it's based on two of my favorite monsters of all time, Red Eyes Black Dragon and Summon Skull. So it's a little bit of a deck dedicated to that idea and that theme. I never really did a deck profile, though, because, again, they keep making brand new fucking cards, and I can't afford to buy anything anymore, so it is not technically complete. But, again, it technically will never be complete, because for me, the purpose of owning the deck, or at least having a deck for me, it feels way more personal when I don't restrict myself and feel like, okay, I have to kind of limit this deck to fucking 50 cards. Tournament fucking people are playing with 35, 20 cards, winning fucking tournaments now. Just insane dueling strategies that we never had to worry about when it was my era. I would just walk into the fucking card shop on the block and be like, oh, there's Yu-Gi-Oh! Can I please buy a pack, sir? Here you go, my boy. Let's see what you open. Let's see what you fucking unlock, right? That's how it was for me. Back in my era, when we had duels, you played for your best card. So when we used to have duels, you put your best card on the line. If you lost a duel, you lost your best card. That was it. So a lot of decks back in the day wouldn't make sense, but they would be fucking OP as hell. They would definitely be OP as shit. We are getting ready here, ladies and gentlemen, for puck drop in Montreal. Sabres and the Canadiens. Like I said, maybe one day I'll still show off the deck profile. I feel like I like the idea of it being a more personal deck where I don't have to play with tournament rules and restrictions, because it might be a deck where I try to give it to my kids or something one day. I don't ever want to sell the cards. It's I feel like Seto Kaiba when I pull that motherfucker out. I'm like, okay, you bring your monsters, I'll bring my dual monsters. We'll see who wins. We'll see who gets sent to the Shadow Realm and who comes back. But if you gotta summon Exodia, you gotta summon Exodia on that ass. But every time I pull it out, I like to feel like Seto Kaiba, as opposed to just another duelist out there trying to copy whatever duel deck they seen on YouTube or whatever. I don't play for that kind of reason, and I never have. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is also one of the only trading card games where you can't play for money. So it's actually banned. You cannot play for money at all. You play for the sport and the love of dueling, or just the love of the card game. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all ready to go. I'm talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! During Game 6 at the Bell. Hockey night in Canada. Saturday night playoff hockey in Montreal, Quebec. Sabres versus the Canadiens. We're turning off the lights. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghosts and Goblins, Witches and Wizards, Vampires and Werewolves. Tonight, We answer one question indeed. Can the Buffalo Sabres at least force a Game 7? Series is officially stacked against them. The Montreal Canadiens lead 3-2 in this best of 7 between Buffalo and Montreal. All I can ask for, ladies and gentlemen, please, Buffalo, next season, sign the players that we need to remain. Benson has been amazing. Obviously, Tuck can stay around. Dahlin, can we please take the fucking C off of Dahlin's jersey? I'm not saying we got to get rid of him. I feel like I'm not asking for a whole lot, but the captain and the dick riding from the fucking All-Star games and all this EA Sports 99 overall bullshit has to go. It just has to go, chat. The man is not a defenseman. If he was a good defenseman, I would tell you. I would be absolutely honest. I would say it. If we had goons, if we had more goons and enforcers, that's what I'm looking for. The draft is coming up in Buffalo. Please, somebody out there, listen to your boy. I don't know exactly if the Sabres defense is ready to hold it down because, like I said, in game 5 in Buffalo, that first period was really good shootout. But from there, defensively, the boys just let it get way too fucking far out of reach. You can blame Luukkonen all you want, but honestly, defense was not there for the goalie. Dahlin was not there for the goalie. That's the captain of the Sabres right there. We're going to need a little bit more here, Dahlin, if we want to see a Game 7. I'm just going to be absolutely point-blank real with you.
Can I help you, sir?
Here's the bill from the dealership where I got my car, and I'd like you to beat it with a better deal on one of these fine cars.
We got fans at the Buffalo Sabres Arena. 1 Seymour H. Knox III Plaza. I do know the address by heart. We got fans at the Sabres Arena watching it at the watch party. I'm here tonight doing it solo, of course, because we are not at that point on YouTube where YouTube is going to like that kind of shit. YouTube doesn't like that kind of shit, ladies and gentlemen. If you've never tried to do YouTube or be a content creator, YouTube and their has been a very big puzzle to try to figure out in recent years. But I feel like I figured it out in some way or another. At least some way or another. We're ready to go here. They're all amped up in Montreal. All ready to go here for Game 6. National anthem set to go. And you know what that means. It is hockey night in Canada, ladies and gentlemen. Saturday night playoff hockey in Montreal, Quebec. Game 6 at the Bell. Very historic arena as well for the UFC. Shout out Georges St-Pierre. French Canadian. I don't know if necessarily from Montreal, but I know French Canadian. Couple Buffalo jerseys out there. I like that. Volume is all good. I don't want it too loud again because YouTube, they will not hesitate. They will not hesitate one bit to come in here and be like, you thought you could stream some hockey tonight? No. You thought it was okay to just hang out and watch hockey like a regular person on a Saturday night? Talk to your audience and try to grow some viewership with your entertainment? Who the fuck? YouTube used to be a creative space. It used to be a creative environment for all. Maybe tonight during the intermissions I'll show you guys some of my old channels from back in the day, the original channels from like 2009 and when I was uploading music through high school and everything.
Sabres have been an excellent road team, 4-1 away from Buffalo in this postseason. Sean McDonough upstairs, Ray Ferraro between the benches.
Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, the law in Buffalo, New York, you can get into a fight. It is allowed if both parties come to an agreement to fight each other. Tonight, both parties have come to an agreement to battle in Montreal. The Sabres and the Canadiens will absolutely go to war in a Game 6 here. The Canadiens know they can eliminate the Sabres, close it out here in Game 6, and advance to that Eastern Conference Championship against the Carolina Hurricanes, who are still waiting to find out who is going to win this best of 7 between the Canadiens and the Sabres. Right now, Montreal leads 3-2. Game still has yet to officially begin between the Sabres and Canadiens. Just getting prepared for national anthems in Montreal. Alex Tuch getting some time here to shine. First round versus Bruins, good points, 7. But in this series against the Canadiens, no points so far for Alex Tuch. So that is something, obviously, to kind of check down, to kind of mark down on the notepad. Alex Tuch played really good against the Boston Bruins, 7 points total. But in this series against the Montreal Canadiens, really quiet so far. No points at all for Alex Tuch. Big Tim Hortons donut in the hands of Alex Tuch right now on the Sabres. The fans in Montreal sound ready to go, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Sabres failed to win the big one. Now, tonight, they have their back against the ropes. They are 1 game away from elimination and wrapping up the entire season. 1 game away from saying, well, Buffalo, maybe next season. You know how that goes. Emiliana, it's been so long since you texted me. National anthems starting now, ladies and gentlemen.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed.
It looks like we might be playing Alex Lyon tonight as well. Sabres might be making a crucial goalie change right here. I see Alex Lyon out there all geared up, ready to go on the ice.
Still there. Oh, say does that star span.
God bless the great land of Canada. They have given us a Game 6 tonight, ladies and gentlemen, in Montreal, Quebec. The Sabres and the Canadiens meet one more time here, round 2 of the 2026 NHL Stanley Cup playoffs. And no, ladies and gentlemen, we are not talking about your girlfriend's Stanley Cup. We are talking about the historic, the most legendary cup of all time. In the greatest sport that we know and love called hockey. The Sabres once again find themselves, after a 15-year drought, here in the playoffs. Round 2 made it pretty far. I think a lot further than a lot of other people were assuming at the start of the season here for the Sabres. Just going to be honest with you. But here we are. And that is why I feel, ladies and gentlemen, even with an elimination, it is not going to be an ultimate heartbreaker for me. I've seen a lot worse. You may not understand it. You may not know that just yet, but I've seen a lot worse as a Buffalo Sabres fan. Tonight, not going to be the worst loss for me if the boys do go out with an L in this Game 6. I'm just happy the Buffalo Sabres have made it this far. We are playing in the playoffs again. That's what it technically is all about. At least having a team that can at least compete and qualify for the playoffs after the season, have that opportunity to call themselves a champion, play for the championship. But that is why I love Buffalo teams so much. Me, myself, I've seen a lot of heartbreaks over the years, a lot of losses. But that is why I believe in the Buffalo Bills and the Buffalo Sabres. Even if they make it to the championship and lose, we have the kind of mentality and that kind of blood just in our type of person where we want to get right back there and prove ourselves worthy again. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Alex Lyon is in the net for the Buffalo Sabres. So Luukkonen gonna have to sit it out on the bench and watch the Buffalo Sabres try to step it up here defensively. Of course, the Canadiens, they're gonna keep Dobesh out there. They've been pretty real with pretty solid, honestly, defensively in the net. Can't complain too much. 9-14 on the save percentage. It's not too bad for the Montreal Canadiens goalie here going against the Sabres. That is definitely a good accomplishment when you got a team like the Buffalo Sabres with some shooters who are not making it easy when they do get the puck and they want to take some shots. That is one thing we can talk about from last game. One of the biggest flaws. Unbelievable. I seen not only did the Buffalo Sabres get a power play, but they decided to take our goalie out of the net. So we had like 6-7 shooters on the ice for the Buffalo Sabres. Final minutes of the third period. Down 3 goals. About 7 shooters on the ice. And nobody's taking any kind of shots on goal. They're just passing it around in the Canadian zone. Unreal. Absolutely mental, ladies and gentlemen. And the Buffalo Sabres immediately get the first goal in the game. The Buffalo Sabres strike first, and they strike early. There you go. It looks like they're crediting jabroni-ass Dahlin with the goal. My God. They're giving it to Dahlin, Sabres captain. You hear it from the commentary team in Montreal. Giving Dahlin the goal. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Buffalo Sabres on the board first. We'll draw the blades for Dahlin. We'll draw the blades for Dahlin. Why not? Captain of the Sabres. Draws blood first. We got the Sabres out. Buffalo Sabres 1-0. And it is 19-20. 19-28 still in the first. And the Sabres not backing down here. So the Buffalo Sabres already 1-0, ladies and gentlemen. 19-10 remaining here in the first. One thing that is also to be taken into consideration, the Montreal Canadiens have been a really great team after suffering a loss in the playoffs. They actually have a 5-0 record after a loss. So the Montreal Canadiens have been tough to beat back-to-back. If we're talking statistic-wise, Sabres lost last game, so that would mean tonight, if the hockey gods want to bless us, that would mean tonight the Sabres have a lot of potential to win this, and there's a really high percentage for the Sabres to win since the Canadiens won the last game. Because right now the Canadiens have been better after a loss. They're 5-0 after a loss. So if the Sabres win tonight, they force a Game 7 in Buffalo. And like I said, that would mean the Canadiens would be looking to add 6-0, an undefeated streak after a loss in the playoffs. That is definitely something that you don't hear too many times, especially from what is right now the youngest team in the NHL, the Montreal Canadiens, with the average youngest NHL team currently in 2026. And the Canadiens get it right back. As we just talk about all their skill and all their talent, all their potential, they get the goal right back in Montreal at the Bell. Hockey night in Canada, ladies and gentlemen. They are celebrating in Montreal. They tied it up just like that, 1-1. The Sabres and the Canadiens can basically call it 0-0 once again. And that one just went right over the glove Honestly, it did hit the glove of Lyon, but it bounced right over the glove after it hit it. And yeah, it just went right over the glove, over the shoulder of Alex Lyon. And that is a goal for the Montreal Canadiens. So if you thought the goalie was the problem, there you go. Buffalo Sabres defense really need to start playing defense if they want to force a Game 7. Buffalo finally get the puck out of their zone, but it is the Canadiens who check it right back down. Now Sabres knocked down behind the net. They're still fighting for the puck here. And it looks like Buffalo control it. Tage Thompson sends it high, and that gets knocked down at center. Canadiens able to pick it up with the possession. Off a skate. Looks like 23 out there for Buffalo. Gets it back, sends it to center ice. All tied up at 1, ladies and gentlemen. Sabres and Canadiens both have 1 goal each, and it is still the first period. Shot way back from the blue line. That doesn't hit the net. Goes back to the Sabres. Now Alex Tuch tries to put it on net. That gets hit by a body. Down low by the Canadiens. 1-on-1. Squared up with Tuch and just blocked it. Sabres passing it around in their zone. A little behind the net pass going on here for Buffalo. Behind the net strategy has really been working here for Buffalo. They've really been a team that's like to take it really deep into the other team's end. Once they do have the puck in their possession, they like to get it deep and down low behind the net, try to get the goalie looking around, try to take his awareness off the puck and open up some plays in front, get them passes. To be the right pass, and Buffalo does take the puck away from Montreal in their zone. Buffalo shot on net gets blocked. So Buffalo has been a team here, especially this year. You can tell their play style. They've really liked to take the puck down low, get it behind the net, and try to execute the right passes to try to score whatever kind of goal they can. I do like that it's not a lot of greasy goals, not a whole lot of grease ball shit here from the Buffalo Sabres, which you do like to see a team playing with their strengths. The Sabres able to avoid all the chances right there from Montreal. They clear the puck out of their zone. Now shot on net. That one hits the glass. Buffalo goes for the line change off, sending the puck down low. Montreal also a bit upset here, looking for a penalty. Referee's not calling for it, though. So Montreal skates it out of their zone now. And Buffalo with the steal. But the goalie comes out of the net and puts it back in play for the Canadiens. Slows it back down when necessary. Almost a one-on-one right there with the goalie for Buffalo. Good breakaway opportunity, just couldn't be done. And now Buffalo once again on the attack. Good shot right there. All stonewalled from the brick wall in the net for the Canadiens. We are still sitting at 1-1. Canadiens absolutely sound Rowdy Piper over there. Rowdy Piper in Montreal. That is not a fact. He passed away a long time ago, ladies and gentlemen. I wish. But he is not in attendance. He is not at the game. Still 14 minutes and 58 seconds left, though, in the first. Alex Tuch on the bench. We got Benson out there for the Sabres, number 6. Benson, real difference maker here for Buffalo in the playoffs this year, 2026. Youngest player in Buffalo, currently 20, I believe his birthday just turned 21 years old. The man can now legally drink in the city of Buffalo, New York, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe it? Youngest player on the Buffalo Sabres. Just became allowed to step into a bar, and there's a lot of them here in Buffalo. Good center pass to the front for the Sabres, but they were robbed on that one from the goalie. Looked like Thompson had the pass to Benson, right at the center of the net, and now the boys getting a little scrappy-do with each other after the referee blows the whistle, stops the play. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, Benson, youngest player for the Buffalo Sabres, currently 21 years old, just turned 21. On his birthday, scored a goal. What a way to celebrate. Why not? Like I said, for my birthday next year, ladies and gentlemen, they have confirmed the Buffalo Bills versus the Las Vegas Raiders in Las Vegas. Interestingly enough, my dad always used to take me to the Bills and the Oakland Raider games. Last time I ever got to experience a Buffalo Bills game, we played the Oakland Raiders, and it was a comeback for the Buffalo Bills. We had Ryan Fitzpatrick as our quarterback. Once upon a time, in a galaxy far away. And now Tuck sends it off the boards for Buffalo. They control it, passing it around the ice here. Sabres take it beyond center, now over the blue line. Right on net, rebound goes back to Buffalo. Pass down to the center, can't find the target. That pass, no accuracy, goes back to the Canadiens. Suzuki is out there for the Montreal Canadiens. Suzuki line on the ice right now for Montreal. Buffalo does get it back defensively. Right now, Buffalo goes for the fresh pair of skates on the ice. Line change right there from the Sabres and the Canadiens. So now brand new lines out there for both teams. And a dump and chase right there from the Sabres. Try to get it back, but Buffalo failed to do so. Once again, dump and chase, not my favorite strategy in modern day hockey, especially in a playoff situation, Game 6. You don't want to see the dump and chase happen too often. Now the Sabres trying to get it once again behind the net. Well, Montreal knows that strategy all too well. They're prepared for Buffalo to do just that, and they get it back. Continues here in the first with 12 minutes and 55 seconds remaining. The Canadiens slowing it down in their zone. They have all the control right now on the possession. And they send the pass off the boards here. Montreal trying to get a step ahead of Buffalo. On the puck, they do so. Now dribbling it around. Montreal lost it. No stick handle right there for the Canadiens as the Sabres intercept that. One-on-one with the forward. Now the Sabres get it back in their zone. And it is a brawl. Oh, no. They were squaring up, though. The Montreal Canadiens definitely went down, though. I don't know if it looked like it was like Newhook squaring up with Krebs. Newhook and Krebs going at it at center. The camera was a bit beyond the play, so I couldn't really tell who it was. It's going to be 19 on Buffalo. That is Krebs. So that is Krebs in the penalty box for the Sabres. Apparently it's interference. I mean, Krebs did send it down low. He did have the puck. Unfortunately, Krebs just decided to hang on to that jersey and start trading some shots with him once Krebs decided to send it down low. Don't know what made Krebs decide to start swinging like that, but he did. So Krebs will take the penalty for Buffalo, and Montreal has the power play here in the first.
People turn down free money by not switching to Geico. Customers can save $900, you know.
Oh, free bank shirt?
Yeah, it's not quite. Excuse me, sorry. Do you have this in extra small?
Nah.
Oversized is in. Totally.
It feels good to find the right fit. It feels good to Geico.
He's clean, boss.
Native, huh? Can you explain this clean ingredient stuff?
It works without the aluminum.
How much of it can you get?
Wayne Gretzky. Where's Wayne Gretzky?
All right.
He was accepted into the Hall
I have
of Fame.
returned.
That's nice. What was discovered?
We're still in a commercial break, but it is still the first period here, ladies and gentlemen.
Accepted at 99% of places nationwide.
Toronto melts at the same time when the spring arrives. That is a very nice joke. Haven't heard that one before, but Toronto, one day, hopefully, they will arrive in the playoffs again. Good rivalry right there between the Sabres and the Toronto Maple Leafs. I love teams from Toronto, though. We just had the Iceman drop. Emiliana, it's been so long since you texted me.
Suzuki establishes zone. The great playmaker Hudson up top. Wayne Hudson's left.
One time when I was really active on Twitch, and right there the Montreal Canadiens put it in the back of the net, and they get a goal right back, so it will be a 2-1 game off the Montreal power play, just like that. Montreal scores on the power play. Buffalo defense can't get the job done. And it is now a 2-1 game at the Bell Hockey Night in Canada, ladies and gentlemen, Saturday night in Montreal. And I don't know why, I don't know who that was for the Sabres, but getting way too emotional down there. Looked like number 11 or something. But getting way too emotional off after that last goal. Yeah, it was really early on the power play for Montreal. But still, a lot of hockey left to be played. Defense not keeping their emotions where they need to be right now. And they just might be under a lot of pressure in Montreal as well. Enemy territory, a lot of hostility in Quebec for the Sabres tonight. So the defense have to be able to keep their emotions in check, stay focused, and fucking defend the ice.
8.5 minutes in.
But one time when I was active on Twitch, and Dead by Daylight was out, I used to know this one streamer that I got really close with. Her name is Melanie Machete. You know, shout out Melanie. You were really cool. She's actually from Toronto, and she allowed me to become a moderator on her channel, which was really nice because that was like the first person that ever really allowed me to do that. We got cool with each other, and we both liked Dead by Daylight. But I know for a fact she loved the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I would always joke with her about the Toronto Maple Leaf jokes and the Sabres.
5 different goal scores. The 2 games here, they were good a man up. They went 3 for 8 in games 3 and 4. Back on the line, Duane. He has 2 power play goals in the playoffs. The only one with more than one in the golden goal of Buffalo. Benson centers one. Thompson shot it wide. Benson had forever to make up his mind. Quinn back to the line. Duane went spinning away from Evans. That one hit. Bodies up in front. Up to the net.
But it was fun being a moderator for her channel for a little bit. Sabres trying to get a goal back here. Buffalo does have a power play, so the Sabres are going to try to respond after that last goal from the Montreal Canadiens. I did like being a moderator, but time kind of just got away from me, trying to figure stuff out in life. I never really had a lot of money, so I couldn't really donate or show my support or anything. But the fact that they were cool enough with me to kind of just let me hang out and be a moderator on the channel was really nice. Buffalo power play, 1 minute, 25 seconds remain. And it sounds like Buffalo still awaiting another penalty call. Thompson takes it over the blue line for the Sabres. Montreal do get it back. No whistle called. That one gets sent all the way back down to the Sabres zone. Lyon steps out of net, slows the puck down. And Buffalo, 55 minutes left on the power play. Good center pass right there. Duane all one-on-one with the goalie. He did run right in to the goalie for Montreal. So Darlene made way too much contact. And now Darlene will be sent to the penalty box for Buffalo. Had a one-on-one chance right there after the pass, but just made way too much contact with the goalie. Darlene has been penalized a lot in the series. And it is an unsportsmanlike call on Buffalo, but a call as well on the Montreal Canadiens for slashing. So Darlene does run into the goaltender for Montreal, makes way too much contact with him. And that is unsportsmanlike on Darlene. Sabres do take the penalty, but the response from the Canadiens and their goalie was a slashing. Dobie in Montreal, they love their goaltender defender. 10 minutes and 10 seconds remain in the first, and it is 2-1 in the first period. The Canadiens 1 goal over the Sabres.
But down the stretch became the front goaltender for Montreal, to the chagrin of Lindy Ruff, because Dobish a big reason why Montreal leads this series and can clinch it tonight. There's an issue with the clock. Alex Newhook is in the penalty box to serve the Dobish penalty.
Alex Newhook takes the penalty for Montreal since they can't send the goalie to the box. Montreal currently has 2 players in their penalty box, and the Sabres have 1 with Darlene right now. But it is still a Buffalo power play with 41 seconds left on the power play.
He's now on a 5-game point streak with those 7 assists. He hasn't scored a goal yet.
Gonna turn the AC on for a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Just trying to cool down the room. McLeod out there for the Sabres. Good takedown into the zone. But Sabres get the puck taken away from them on their power play. Now shot on net, and that is a goal against the Buffalo Sabres. While the Sabres have a power play, have the man advantage, and the Montreal Canadiens get a shorthanded goal right there. Again, ladies and gentlemen, defensively, what the fuck are the Buffalo Sabres out there doing? We got shorthanded goals. We got Luukkonen walking out to the fucking locker room. What is happening to the Buffalo Sabres here in Game 6? I think they're actually making a goalie change. Luukkonen is coming off the bench. Lindy Ruff has seen enough. He's sending out Luke. My God, ladies and gentlemen, the Buffalo Sabres have an entire power play, and the Canadiens get a shorthanded goal. The Sabres get the puck taken away from them on a power play and get a goal against them shorthanded. The fans in Montreal absolutely going ballistic. But this is exactly what I'm talking about with the Sabres defense and why this is the kryptonite for Buffalo. Defensively, I just do not fucking understand some of the decisions being made here. Sabres defense seems to really just be bleeding out here as we move closer to the end of the series. Again, Sabres had the entire advantage on the power play, get the puck stolen away from them, and then suffer from a shorthanded goal. Montreal and the Canadiens right now currently sit 3-1 over the Buffalo Sabres in Montreal. Game 6 at the Bell. Hockey night in Canada, ladies and gentlemen. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen has been placed in the net for the Buffalo Sabres. So, Lindy Ruff, it seems like he has had enough, and he's kind of on his last straw. This could be one final attempt here for the Sabres to survive in the series. He immediately takes Alex Lyon out of the net. As soon as Alex Lyon goes down 3 goals here in the first period. Again, I don't know if it's a goalie situation. I'm not seeing good plays from the defense. And this is just what I mean. You know, I don't understand how a lot of the commentators, a lot of the analysts, people on the Sabres love Darlene. They've made him the captain, and I just disagree with a lot of this. Defensively, Dahlin does not play defense. So I would stop calling Dahlin a defenseman.
Instead of
Sabres' biggest kryptonite is their defense. And you've seen it a lot just be taken advantage of here in the series against the Montreal Canadiens. I can't really put all the blame on the goalie. When we got a captain on the Buffalo Sabres, who I don't even think should be the captain of the Buffalo Sabres, calls himself a defenseman when he clearly wants to score goals, clearly wants to be some kind of forward, some kind of shooter. But I am going to need some enforcers, some goons. If anybody out there is listening for Buffalo, we got the draft coming up here in Buffalo. Fucking June. Give me some goons. Give me some enforcers. I need some fucking brawlers out there on the ice. I am tired of this shit with Dahlin. Letting these goals happen. We got to take the goalie out of the net. Lindy Ruff is like, nah, Alex Lyon, you ain't the Lion King no more. You ain't it, Alex Lyon. Let's put back Luke. Put Luke in the net. Luke. I think Levi is still playing for the Buffalo Sabres. I do like Levi. I like the goalie unit a lot in Buffalo. But it seems like here in the first, Lindy Ruff is just kind of doing whatever it takes, or kind of just resorting back to whatever he knows, his old tricks, to kind of keep the Sabres alive here, which I don't like to see that. I am noticing a lot of that here in this first period as well. So the Buffalo Sabres right now in the first period still down 3-1. Technically a 2-goal game here for the Montreal Canadiens. And the first period has 9 minutes remaining. So right now for the Sabres, they still need 2 goals to tie this game back. And it seems like the Canadiens are looking for penalties all over the place on the Sabres. They've got a couple of them, and not only that, they've making penalties against them count as well, with their penalty kill unit out there scoring goals. The saber-tooth tiger right now is bleeding out on the ice in Montreal, Quebec. Good center pass right there. Can't find the target. That shot from the Sabres hit an own player. So now a Buffalo Sabre down on the ice. Looks like maybe Norris, yes, number 9 for the Sabres, took that last shot from the puck. Hit his mouth and he is bleeding. So Buffalo Sabres number 9, Norris, takes a puck to the face, bleeding a little bit. He's going to step off the ice. Might have to go pay his dentist a visit after this game. Mike Matheson takes a penalty here for high sticking. So the Buffalo Sabres will get the power play for 4 minutes after that call on Montreal. Fans definitely hate to see that in Quebec. Canadians have definitely taken some unfortunate penalties here in the first period, but Buffalo ends up with another 4-minute power play. And now the Sabres can't even fucking make anything happen on that possession. Face-off goes right back down the ice. Now Sabres take it right back from their zone. Montreal, penalty killers out there for them. Buffalo passing it around on the power play. 3:30 remaining on the power play with 7:40 left in the first. Sabres still control the puck here in the Canadian zone. Thompson, good one-timer right there from the red dot. Can't find it in the back of the net. Can't get it past the stone wall. The brick wall down there for Montreal. And the puck sent right back down the ice for the Sabres. Of course, no icing called because it is a power play right now for Buffalo. 3 minutes still on the power play for Buffalo. Only a minute has been taken off the power play. Sabres once again in the Canadiens zone here. Control the puck on the possession. Byram pass to Norris. Tuck and Norris playing a little catch now. Norris takes a shot on it. He can't get anything, and Montreal with the rebound send it right back down the ice. Playing smart hockey here, just killing a lot of time off that Buffalo power play. Exactly what you need to do in this situation. Just have the Buffalo Sabres try to keep working it back from one end of the ice to the other, just like they would have me do back in the day at concessions. Travel from one side of the building to the other. We're going to pay you minimum wage, and we're going to expect you to do 5 times the work. Why not? Because Delaware North just feels like they have the right to do that. Apparently they have the right to do that. Funny thing, the Buffalo Sabres have a right to score goals when they are down, ladies and gentlemen. In Montreal, the Sabres get one back on the power play. It is number 17 for the Buffalo Sabres. That is Zucker, ladies and gentlemen. Josh Allen, 17. Are you out there watching? We got number 17 out here for Buffalo. And the Sabres scoring some goals out there in Montreal on the power play. Good little backdoor pass right there. Gets to the side of the goalie. And a pass from Norris ends up on the stick of Zucker. And the Buffalo Sabres do get a goal back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to pull out the Blades. I'm not going to pull out the Sabres until we tie this game up. I'm still looking for that goal to tie this one up in Montreal. And we will pull out the Sabres for that one. We will draw the Sabres when the boys can tie it up in Montreal. But I do like that goal right there, tying up this game. Or I'm sorry, not tying it up, but at least getting one goal back. A little bit of a momentum shift for the Buffalo Sabres. Still down 1 goal. It is currently 3-2. Buffalo Sabres last goal. And the Sabres still down by 1 with 5:30 left in the first. Montreal now moving it around the ice. Trying to make an adjustment here. The Canadiens after that last goal from the Sabres. Great thing about the Buffalo Sabres, ladies and gentlemen, we do have the shooters necessary to get the goals. It is always just the defense I'm worried about. But the Sabres do get a goal back, so now 3-2 game after that Buffalo power play goal. Good passing around here from Montreal in the Sabres zone. Montreal just on the puck dribble, trying to keep away from Buffalo. Good effort right there from Montreal, who had a backdoor look at it after that pass and just couldn't get the puck in the back of the net. Luking it in the Sabres. Absolute brick wall down there. Montreal choked on it. Good look at it, just couldn't get it there. Now they're going to need more chances like that if they want to keep the Sabres off the puck. Sabres avoid that call right there, and now the Canadiens get it over the blue line once again. Pass back. Now the Sabres get it in their zone. And the Canadiens are absolutely fighting for it here. I mean, nothing but relentless energy here from the Canadiens, who are still on the attack. The goalie of the Sabres, Luukkonen, has to have fear in his eyes because the Sabres are really struggling to clear this puck. Now this one gets finally sent back down the ice. Canadiens still fighting back with 3 minutes and 30 left. Sabres right now on the possession in their defensive zone. Buffalo get it in the Canadian zone, but Montreal know exactly what they need to do to stay on the attack here. And honestly, Montreal have really good puck dribblers. They have really good people that are good at stick handling, really good stick dribblers with the puck. And every line just seems to know exactly the move to make, trying to get away from the Buffalo Sabres when they do try to attack. But the Sabres right now defensively holding it down. And a penalty right here, I think, going to be called on the Buffalo Sabres. Maybe a call on both teams, it sounds like. Canadians trying to plead their case to the jury that is the referee, but they're not going to hear it. Sounds like it was called for Buffalo unsportsmanlike and then interference on Montreal, so both teams will have to beat down a player moving forward in the first. A lot of goals so far. The Sabres still trying to find that one goal to tie up the game, though. They just need one more back, and it will be all even in Montreal. Right now, the Canadians 3-2 over the Buffalo Sabres.
Suddenly, Hank says, you gotta try this place kind of thing. Hank makes the pizza. Co-pilot handles the spreadsheets.
Introducing Subway's new fresh value menu. 15 different protein-packed choices, all for under $5. With big 6-inch deli face, $3.99. Protein pockets, $3.99. And a 6-inch sub of the day, $4.99. Always freshly made, always available every single day.
The Buffalo Sabres did get the last goal to make it a 3-2 game in Montreal. So the Sabres are still down by 1 in the first period. But it looks like the last call on the ice was an unsportsmanlike on Buffalo and then an interference on the Canadians. So yes, both teams have a man in the box. And it will be 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. And there is 2 minutes and 43 seconds left in the first. So for the next 2 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, some 4-on-4 hockey, not including the goalies. Hockey night in Canada, ladies and gentlemen. It is Saturday night. The current date is May 16th, 2026. The Iceman dropped yesterday. Buffalo Sabres going to send out one of their stronger lines here for the 4-on-4. And it looks like 71 out there for the Sabres on the faceoff. Apparently they're still trying to figure out what to do here in Montreal as the referees are still communicating with the Sabres bench, telling them, yeah, you gotta, send one of your players over there to the box. So here we go. We get a face-off now in Montreal. Looks like 71 McLeod out there. Buffalo lost the face-off. Montreal get it back in their zone. And the pass now. Can't find its target. Buffalo end up with it defensively. And the Sabres now skate it behind the net. It is the Sabres passing it around here. Over center ice for Buffalo, now over the blue line. Buffalo on the attack, shot on net. Can't go that one. Off the pads from the goalie in Montreal. Now the Sabres off the boards. Pass back. Sabres time on possession here. Good look at it right here for Buffalo. Stick handling in the zone. But it is the Canadiens who force it back. And the Buffalo Sabres have to go for a line change here. not risking the offside play. Now Buffalo get it over center ice again, now past the blue line. Tage Thompson is out there for the Buffalo Sabres. And Tuck as well. Still 4-on-4 hockey for the next 35 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. Both teams still down a man. 4-on-4 for the next 30 seconds, and 1 minute and 11 seconds remain in the first. Sabres. I've seen a really good hustle from Alex Tuck whenever he gets one-on-one and squared up with somebody. Alex Tuck is always on the hustle to get the puck back for the Buffalo Sabres. I really do like to see that. Just that time outnumbered in the Canadian zone, so Montreal still trying to push it over center ice. Montreal still passing around. Good hit right there. Good hit right there from the Buffalo Sabres at center ice. Take the puck away from the Canadiens. But the Canadiens in their zone get it back, and now what could have been a 2-on-1 off the pass can't find its mark. Bad pass right there from the Canadiens. Has the puck going all over the place. The frozen biscuit going in all directions right now, and Buffalo finally able to slow it down a little bit. And the Buffalo Sabres still trying to find that goal to tie this game up in Montreal. Good attempt right there, good stick handle, but the referees called a whistle at the end of the first. So that is going to do it for the entire first period, ladies and gentlemen. It is 3-2, the Montreal Canadiens over the Buffalo Sabres. And in this best-of-7 series, the Montreal Canadiens lead 3-2. So, a little deja vu right there for the Sabres. Not only down after one period 3-2, but the Canadiens do lead in the best-of-7 3-2 right now. So, during this intermission, ladies and gentlemen, we will take some time to have a little bit of story time with the Monarch here. Mute the volume on the telly. Mute the volume on the telly. Shout out to Nate Schott and the Thieves. I know they lost at the DreamHack tournament, but fucking Nate Schott and the Thieves, shout out. You got the boy Abizi, one of the highlights today. Scrap. I like to call him Abizenezer Scrooge. Instead of Abizi, I just call him Abizenezer Scrooge. Abizenezer. The Abizenezer Scrooge. So, ladies and gentlemen, for story time with the Monarch during this entire first intermission, let's see here. I would like to talk about to actually discover talent over the years, because I feel like that's been one of the things that's obviously stricken me a lot over time. Is a lot of people out there really don't know about me in life. They have no idea that I even exist, or that I currently create the content that I do, or that I'm breathing air and oxygen as we speak. But I would like to say I've been around a really long time. I feel like discovering new talent and kind of trying to share the new talent that I find has always been one of my bigger strengths, or one of my better abilities as a person. Basically, I know for a fact I found Hobson before like anybody else was even talking about him on YouTube. Found Hobson before he had even blown up, before he was even a millionaire. Started showing him to my friends. After that, when I was in high school, I don't want to say that I obviously found Run the Jewels, or that I discovered them before anybody else, but I was definitely listening to them before a lot of other people. Like before they blew up or became popular, I was really into Run the Jewels because of Killer Mike, so I was already a fan because of that. But when I was in high school, I tried to always, show people Run the Jewels and kind of put their music out there. And, recently, the 1 year at the Grammys, Killer Mike had the three-peat sweep. Absolutely won in every category that he was nominated. And that doesn't happen too often, but definitely well-deserving. One of my favorites. Killer Mike, And then they arrested him afterwards, which is a bit strange, because police don't want to arrest people that they actually need to arrest. But the three-peat sweep at the Grammys will always be remembered for me. I feel like Locksmith is another one that I try to always encourage people to listen to and try to always promote. He's somebody that actually follows me on my Twitter and my X, so shout out to Locksmith, one of my favorites. Very good battle rapper who transitioned more into doing studio style and having a career professionally making music. So not only a former battle rapper, but also, you know, doing his thing in the studio and trying to make music for a living. That's the type of stuff I really respect. Shout out to Locksmith, man. Shout out to Arcane. Arcane is a battle rapper from Buffalo, New York. I actually met him one time when I was walking to the plug spot to pick up some bud, actually. Walked to the plug spot, you know, met the dude, Arcane. Really good dude. He's battled on King of the Dot against guys like Disaster and everything. So, really good dude. And we just kind of connected just because we were into music and he's seen what type of person I am. So, nothing but great things to say. Shout out Arcane, man. Shout out Locksmith. Analyst follows me as well on my Twitter. So I really love when I have the ability to just discover new artists and also share them with people and kind of try to expand their community and their fan base a little bit more. It's one of the things that I really feel like has kind of held me back a lot over the years. Is like I said, it's unfortunate that I do work really hard and I put a lot of time and effort into my stuff. And right now, you know, it could all be for nothing. Hopefully it's not. The goal is hopefully, you know, someday I guess I'm in a conversation and people remember me and they're still listening to my music when I'm no longer here and able to make it anymore. So, for me, I just want to be able to do what I love and continue to, like, share everything that I love. But yeah, that has been one of the things holding me back over the years is I feel like I work so hard and I do try to invest a lot of creative output out there and try to always show people my ideas. Right now, it feels like it's always been for nothing because it really doesn't get that viewership or I guess that attention that you're looking for. Like I said, there's definitely ways to improve on it and there's things that I will do to make it better. It's not that like I won't or that I'm not going to. I just think it's unfortunate sometimes you work so hard and you do so much and sometimes other people just don't even know that you exist and they don't even really know that you're breathing oxygen right now. So that is a bit hard. It's I will say though, when I met Arcane the battle rapper, I literally just met him because I wanted to walk to the plug and, you know, pick up some bud, and I was just getting like a dime bag. It wasn't nothing major, but this is just a situation, a scenario where it wasn't even music or anything involved, and I met this person who is related to music and associates with music. If you step out of your element and you get out there and you put yourself out there a little bit, there's no telling who you're gonna meet or who discovers you, what could happen, right? So that's always kind of been my hope, or at least my ambition on YouTube, at least a little bit, is maybe one day somebody out there will kind of find me and actually be like, holy shit, you know, I actually want to work with this person or try to do some business with them. Because right now, I have absolutely no engineers, I have no producers, no managers, no distribution, no promotion. It has been difficult doing everything on my solo, on my Han Solo. It definitely has been difficult. I would say that's one of the other things, you know, that will change in the future. Once I get an engineer, I mean, the entire reason I want the engineer is because they're going to be able to mix and master the songs a lot better. They're going to be able to fine-tune it and make them sound proper and the way that I want them to sound, essentially. Right now, I can't do that. I'm not a fucking engineer. I take more pride in my writing and being a lyricist and actually writing the song and performing the song, so I shine in that category. That's all me. I like being a lyricist. I like writing the song, and I like rapping the song and performing it. That's all I need. So I don't need to be the engineer in there fine-tuning everything. I do need an engineer, though. So hopefully one day in the future that kind of changes with my quality when I do kind of meet an engineer that I really kind of consider, okay, this is who I like, and this is who I kind of want working on my projects, going for that sound that I'm trying to create and trying to perfect. But right now I don't even have an engineer, so I kind of do everything in a way where it's not perfect, and it's not exactly the way that I would want it to sound, but it is something that I can at least create and put out there for the time being. At least share my ideas a little bit. And like I said, all a studio demo technically is just an idea. It's for me to kind of, hopefully show record labels and the big executives that do have the money to sign people. I can just show them, hey, I have some potential at least. And my entire thing that I would love to do, I mean, it would be incredible to obviously, sell out some arenas here in Buffalo, Sabres Arena, Buffalo Bills Stadium. I've always thought about Shea's. It would be really cool for me to perform at Shea's. That's been one that's always been up there for me. I think for me, just the thing that I love so much is knowing at any point in time, here on social media or whatever, you do have the ability to kind of be found when you're lost. It could take some time, and you might have to have a little bit of patience, but if you ever wanted to be a sniper for the Marines, patience is pretty critical, pretty important. So patience, it pays off for people out there that wait sometimes. Wait for the good things. We're still in intermission, ladies and gentlemen. First intermission of Game 6 between the Buffalo Sabres and the Montreal Canadiens. But I feel like that is the one thing I've always had the ability to do, is just discover new artists and kind of share them with my friends or my community. And I really love having the ability to do that. I mean, there's so many people that I would just love the opportunity to work with one day, music-wise, professionally. One thing that kind of upsets me that I looked into recently, if I did want to get a DBA or a doing business as for my studio, for Phenomena, because that is technically my thing here, I have no money to kind of invest into it. I always wanted to kind of go to the bank and hopefully I'd be like, oh yeah, I make music, can you please give me a credit card with this amount of money on it? And then of course you would have to have the resume and the kind of background to show the bank, okay, this is a trustworthy person, or this is a person that we can loan the money to on the credit card. But I've never done that because I don't have any money to even, make it a thing. But also, it's a bit unfortunate because if you don't have a DBA, at least in the state of New York, they don't take you seriously as a music artist, I've come to learn. If you don't have a DBA, or if you're not actually having a bank account with your record label set up and putting money into it, or, your tax write-offs and everything like that, they don't really consider you a professional, which I think is kind of whack. That is definitely disrespectful for me. I've invested 15 years of my life. I've put in 15 years of me, 16 years of writing, trying to promote myself, trying to, get everywhere that I possibly need to be to even have people find out about me as a person, as an artist. And to kind of hear that in the state of New York, you're not even considered a professional if you don't have that DBA, or if you don't have, money in your bank account. They're not even going to, bat an eye at you. That's kind of how the way the world is sometimes, It's, you might be the person who dresses like a bum, or the homeless person outside on the street, You walk into a really fancy designer store, they got the Gucci, they got the Louis Vuitton, they got the Rolex watches, the Jacob & Co. watches. They see you and they think, oh, this guy just walked in off the street. We got to kick him out of the store. It's kind of felt like that way a little bit for me in my life over a lot of the years, the past 15, 16 years. Like I said, I know when people see me, they might not assume much, or they might not. Obviously, I'm not going for like the intimidation factor or anything. I just want people to fucking hopefully want to invest in me and think that creatively I come up with enough good ideas that I can actually take care of myself and make a living for myself. And I just want to be at a point where I can have a career just doing what I love. I just want to be able to create all the things that I love. I've always felt like, you know, it's that same story. You're going to be going to these fancy designer stores. The people with the money are always going to be looking at you like you're just a bum that walked in off the street. And they're going to tell you, hey, you can't touch this, you can't buy this. That's what it's felt like for me the past 15, 16 years at least in my music career. And I was really, you know, like I said, it felt like a little bit of disrespect when I looked into that DBA and I found out, yeah, banks don't even take you serious or anything if, yeah, you don't have the bank account and stuff, you don't have the DBA, you don't have the credentials, you don't have the paperwork. But Phenomena basically represents my entire music label. That is kind of everything that I do with my music. Legend Killers is everything that I want to do with gaming, or just, I guess, entertainment in general, but more specifically catered towards the gaming. Really, my entire goal for this YouTube channel isn't even to do this kind of content that I'm doing right now. I've always wanted to turn my YouTube channel, hopefully in the future, if we ever do get big enough. I mean, like I said, my goal is to become a Red Diamond YouTube channel. I know that's unrealistic, and it sounds crazy right now when we're only sitting at 200 subscribers. But there's certain channels out there with Red Diamond, such as WWE. It is the highest achievement you can reach on YouTube. Entertainment-wise, that's what I'm going for. I want my YouTube channel one day to feel like a version of Optic Gaming or 100 Thieves. Shout out to Hex, Optic Gaming, and shout out Nate Shot, 100 Thieves. But that is exactly how I want my YouTube channel to be. I want to be able to sign other content creators. I want to be able to sign other entertainers, other gamers, professional gamers, streamers, whatever, and have an entire like headquarters here on the channel where the content isn't just about me anymore. We can all kind of share our ideas, and yeah, it can just kind of be this entertainment hub with everybody that I like, everybody that I support, and everybody that kind of wants to share their ideas on the channel and hopefully grow our community and grow our fans. So really, you know, my entire perspective and where I would like the channel to really go one day is kind of like a version of Optic Gaming or 100 Thieves, LA Thieves. The Thieves. Shout out to Nate Shot, Ebenezer Scrooge, as I like to call him. Ebenezer Scrooge. They got that boy Scrap. It seems like Optic really wants to pick up Scrap, and I feel like Scrap, deep down in his heart, he wants to play for Optic real bad, especially right now with the way things are going in the current Call of Duty League 2026. It feels like Scrap one day is most likely going to be played for Optic Gaming, which I'm not mad at. Scrap is a really good player. I know Scumpy said right now he's consistently one of the best slayers. And I know last year in the game he was MVP, so MVP for the regular season at least. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in Game 6 at the Bell in Montreal. It is hockey night in Canada. Looks like we are just about to get started with the second period. Turn the volume back on for everybody out there watching at home. Oh, one thing I would like to mention too. I keep stepping off the camera just to take a sip of the soda, so don't mind me. But one thing I would like to mention too, guys, if you do subscribe I don't actually get to see that. I don't have any kind of pop-up or notification. I don't have any kind of alert that lets me know that you guys subscribed. So if you ever subscribe, go ahead and put a comment, in the video. Don't be shy. You can chat here on the live stream. You're always welcome. Hang out with your boy. Hang out with Demonic. But, yeah, I don't have an alert right now to actually let me know when people do subscribe or when I get a new subscriber. So, of course, again, one day it will happen. But right now, I don't really get to see that until I'm actually done streaming. I end the live stream. And then it'll tell me, the analytics of it and the results of everything afterwards. But right now, I currently don't see that information live. So it's always a surprise to me. But please, if you do subscribe, let me know. I'll give you a shout out. Everything. Second period has begun. Sabres immediately on the attack. Tried to get a pass to Tage Thompson. That one off the mark. Bad pass there for the Sabres. And now Benson gets it on a little bit of a breakaway for the Sabres. He's dealing with the defense there for Montreal, who are staying on him. And the Sabres right now just passing it around in the Canadian zone. So once again, guys, I don't have an alert or any kind of thing that pops up if you do subscribe to the channel for right now. But please do. It helps me so much, and it really means a lot to me. The Buffalo Sabres get a goal right there. They tie up the game, ladies and gentlemen. And since they tied it up, we got to draw the blades. We got to pull out the Sabres. The Buffalo Sabres get one right back. And that is the boy Benson right there for the Buffalo Sabres. My God. Somebody buy this man's rookie card and have him autograph it right now if you are living in Buffalo, New York. Benson. A thrill seeker, an absolute playmaker for the Buffalo Sabres in this playoff series. And honestly, that was like a backhand. Goalie had his back to the puck. Too much net left open. And Benson just put it right back in the net. A little bit of a backhand goal from Benson. But it is 3-3, and we said we got to draw the Sabres. We will. Almost forgot off the excitement. But it is the Buffalo Sabres, ladies and gentlemen, off the Benson goal, tying up this game. 6 at the bell in Montreal. It is hockey night in Canada. Benson, last goal for the Buffalo Sabres. It is a 3-3 game in Montreal now. The Buffalo Sabres are able to strike again. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Benson. Benson for the Sabres. Sabres right now control the puck in the Canadiens' defensive zone. Zone time for the Buffalo Sabres. This possession was almost at 50 seconds. And now the Canadiens finally take that possession away. Good shot right there from the Sabres. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Sabres and the Canadiens all tied up at 3 goals each. 3-3 with 17 minutes and 30 seconds left in the first period. Shot from the red dot for the Canadiens. That one saved by Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen for the Buffalo Sabres. Absolute brick wall down there on that last one. So far, shots on goal 16-6 for the Buffalo Sabres after tying the game. Montreal commentary is saying how Dobesh, the goaltender for the Canadiens, is struggling a bit here now in the second. Really under fire and under a lot of attack from those Buffalo Sabres shooters. Well, we do got the shooters necessary, ladies and gentlemen. They get their job done. They earn their paychecks, tying up the game here. A lot of activity down there in front of the net for the Sabres. They are able to clear that puck out of danger. Canadiens still on the possession in the Sabres defensive zone. Offensive attack here for Montreal. Still stick handling in the Sabres zone. Passing it around here. That's a bad pass. That's going to go back to Buffalo now. We'll just send it back to center ice. Good hit there from Montreal. Big collision takes the puck away from Buffalo. And the Canadiens get it back in their zone. Attack here from the Sabres. Tage Thompson takes the last shot right there. That one saved. Frozen biscuit for the Canadiens.
Well, Seth Thacker told me they pulled Alex Lyon because they knew it just wasn't his night. But they loved the way the team played in front of them in the first period. They like a lot of these new line combinations.
So moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, I will try to think of something really fun to do for the 4th of July. A little bit of a holiday special for us coming up. Find a nice little way to celebrate for the 4th of July, maybe here on the channel. After that, I'm focused on my birthday, October 18th. Like I said, the Buffalo Bills and the Las Vegas Raiders are going to be playing, so I'm really thinking about streaming that game here on the channel. Just some time, hang out, watch some football, have an opportunity to grow the fans, grow the community on my birthday. Why not? Because I already have an idea planned for what I want to do. I was not expecting the Sabres to be playing on, the Bills to be playing on my birthday. But ever since they made that announcement, I was like, okay, Bills and Raiders, a little bit of a history right there for me growing up. As I said, ladies and gentlemen, my dad was Italian and Mexican. So yeah, some of his Mexican side of the family did live out there down in Oakland, or at least fans of the Oakland Raiders at the time. But most of his family from the Maryland and the Washington, D.C. area. They didn't like me because I was a really big fan of Pittsburgh teams. So you can see how that kind of worked out. The Pittsburgh Penguins and the Washington Capitals rivalry was always really interesting. But yeah, I remember the one year he was actually taking a road trip down to Washington, D.C. Wanted to take me with him, and I couldn't even go. Had to pass the grade just so I could stay in school and move on to the next one. Since we are on the topic, people always want to fucking talk shit about Quentin Tarantino and Martin Scorsese, about how their movies like include a lot of racism or just their scripts have racism in them. At the end of the day, Mark Twain was a racist. He grew up in racist-ass South his entire life. His family owned slaves. And people always give the Mark Twain Award out to people that they think are creative geniuses and shit. The dude was a real-life racist, and I never liked Mark Twain. I never liked his books. I actually made a song talking shit about him way before Dave Chappelle did the skit. I'm not trying to take credit for anything. I'm just putting facts out there. Made a song talking shit and doing a diss on Mark Twain and his characters, Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn. But yeah, Mark Twain, real-life racist. His family owned slaves. And again, you know, they hand out awards, the Mark Twain Awards, to people that they think are creative geniuses. When in my opinion, I never liked Mark Twain. If we're talking about books and actual writers that I like, definitely grew up reading a lot of Stephen King. I grew up reading a lot of Stephen King because of my mom. R.L. Stein, you know, just for fun. Seriously though, I'm trying to think. Who wrote the Sin City series? I'm trying to think of the name right now. Frank Miller. Frank Miller, I love. Frank Miller, I love the Sin City stuff. Books, obviously, J.K. Rowling and Harry Potter I grew up on. Captain Underpants was another fun one. Mark Twain isn't up there. Scott Fitzgerald is up there for me. I would definitely put Scott Fitzgerald up there. Actual New York creative writer. Yeah, Mark Twain, go fuck yourself, buddy. You actually own slaves in real life. And in school, people will, read Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn books and act like that's something that kids actually need to learn and fucking read to pass on to the next grade. So if you want to talk shit about Quentin Tarantino and Martin Scorsese, I've always said for me, Quentin Tarantino is one of the only directors in Hollywood that has an all-black, if not an all entirely black cast movie. There's not a lot of directors who can say that. There's not a lot of directors in Hollywood who can say they've made an all-black or almost an entirely all-black movie. Quentin Tarantino's one of them, so I kind of think that matters. At least for me creatively, when people always want to debate and talk shit. It's the same people out there who will watch everyone get accepted with the Mark Twain Award, but like I said, I don't like Mark Twain at all. I don't like his books. I don't like his characters. And yeah, I made an entire diss song way before Dave Chappelle made the skit on him in the Netflix special. And again, not taking credit or anything, I'm just saying I'm kind of a step ahead sometimes. Great minds do think alike, though. Great minds do think alike. But sometimes I'm just a little bit ahead of my time. Sabres have been pushing the pace in this game. It is all tied up still, currently 3-3 for both these teams. The Sabres and the Canadiens, all tied up, 3 goals each.
That kind of nuance you can't achieve without pushing the boundaries of what's possible technically. So as climate...
For me, ladies and gentlemen, it has been very great, this playoff run, being able to hang out with all of you, have some time here to watch some hockey on the channel, grow our community, grow our fan base. I love so much all the support from you. All the support, it really just makes me feel like I have another day to keep going.
This is body armor. Real hydration.
Shout outs to the body armor. I do love body armor. Favorite drinks? Dr. Pepper. I do like lemonade, iced tea, body armor, Gatorade.
Money flows to me easily and effortlessly.
Money flows to me easily and effortlessly.
I do fuck with Arnold Palmer's from time to time, half and half iced tea and lemonade. Little Arnold Palmer from time to time chat.
With Ally, you get your paycheck up to 2 days early. Because life today doesn't wait for Sunday or payday. Ally, do it right.
I did get to see Friday Night SmackDown last night. And it was a surprise to me because I actually booked a match between Royce Keys, my boy Powerhouse Hobbs. Love Powerhouse Hobbs, came over from AEW, currently signed to WWE on the main roster. Working Friday Night SmackDown a lot. Had a match last night with Gunther. So I think that was a #1 contender match to determine who's going to face Cody at Clash in Italy. I'm not streaming Clash in Italy, even though it isn't obviously, the blood country, Italy. My dream one day, maybe get to travel to Italy, finally step foot on Italian soil. But I'm not going to be streaming that event. Just because, again, it's not really a big event for us here on the channel. If it was highly requested or if people were actually wanting to see it, then yeah, I would do it. But I was taken back by seeing Royce Keys versus Gunther on a random Friday night in Carolina. But I like the move. I do like the play, I'm not going to lie. Royce Keys, Powerhouse Hobbs, I really want to see him get that push that he so well deserves. Kiana James, you are a bae right now. Please, let me slide in the DMs. Let me be the sugar baby. I'm trying to have a sugar mama. I'll show up to all the events, Kiana. I'll be your #1 fan out there in that bitch. I'm gonna show up to all the events where all the merchandise. Kiana James, come on, baby girl. Let me talk to you. Let me talk to you nice, Kiana. My God, Kiana looking finer and finer every time I lay my eyes on the baddie Kiana James. Love you, baby girl. Please take care of yourself and stay safe, because right now a lot of injuries have been affecting the roster. I know Randy Orton's still trying to bounce back from an injury. Chelsea Green just had her heart surgery. Liv Morgan almost had an injury that took her out of a WrestleMania match. Braun Breaker damn near just had an injury that could have taken him out of a Backlash match. It's crazy, Chad. It's crazy out there. You gotta protect the neck. You gotta protect the neck. 10 minutes and 40 seconds remain in the second, ladies and gentlemen. Another thing, when I think about Eminem as well, and when I talk about music, at least one of the things that I like to talk about, I've noticed a lot of interviews or just a lot of debates over the years where a lot of the hip-hop community will always compare Busta Rhymes to Eminem. And I think that's great. I'm happy for Busta. I like Busta, but I don't like him that much. I don't think he's really that comparable to Eminem as an artist. When I think about somebody who actually deserves it and that they don't mention a lot, somebody that actually deserves their flowers for me is Tech Nine. I think Tech Nine does the exact same shit that Eminem does in his music. He's able to rap fast. He does the chopper style, does the horrorcore style, does meaningful personal songs. He blends all these different genres together. I would compare Tech Nine a lot more to Eminem than I ever would Busta Rhymes. I get why people like Busta Rhymes to Eminem, but I'm just always, I feel like that's a little unfortunate, because I love Tech Nine as an independent artist, everything he's done for hip-hop. I always want to give him his flowers. For me, my top 5, as a music fan, as a rapper, as a lyricist myself, my top 5 is Eminem, Tech Nine, Nas, Nasir Jones from Queensbridge, Nas, and 50 Cent and the Wu-Tang Clan. Eminem, Tech Nine, Nas, 50 Cent, Wu-Tang. That's my top 5. So I always kind of feel a bit underwhelmed when people don't mention Tech Nine as much, or they don't kind of talk about him as much. People will always compare Busta Rhymes to Eminem for some reason, which I've heard, Busta's music, and I can see why, I guess. They both can rap fast and shit. But again, that's not all Eminem is for me as an artist. When I listen to Eminem's music, I listen to it more for his story, other than trying to listen to him setting Guinness World Records at fucking speed attempts. Trying to go past the speedometer in a song, set a new Guinness record. What I listen to Eminem's music for, I'm there more for the story, and exactly the story that he wants to tell specifically on that project or that album. So I really feel like Tech Nine deserves a lot more flowers. One of the most successful independent artists of all time too. When we talk about independent artists in hip-hop, this dude has entirely built his own empire off of his brand and off of strange music. Literally a millionaire in Forbes, being an independent artist in hip-hop. Buffalo on the power play for the next 2 minutes. And 9 minutes and 50 left in the second. Buffalo has outshot the Canadiens a lot in this game. And so far, both teams, they're all even at 3 apiece. Even with Buffalo laying down the pepper spray on the goalie, trying to blind him, trying to take his view off of the puck. The Sabres are trying to lay down the pepper spray on the goalie, but the goalie has the vision right now. Sabres win the face-off, control the puck in the Canadian zone, still on the power play as well for the next 1 minute and 45 seconds. Buffalo passing it around. Doan out there for the Sabres, as well as Tage Thompson and jabroni-ass Dali, captain of the Sabres. We got to take that captain off that jersey next season. Now, Buffalo get it back on Tage Thompson's stick. He passes it to Quinn. Another one of the Buffalo Sabres that I'm highly favorable of. Now Quinn, one-timer. That is a goal for Quinn. And the Buffalo Sabres, ladies and gentlemen, Quinn gets a power play goal for Buffalo. And now it is the Buffalo Sabres on top. After that goal, the Sabres 4-3 in the second period. We are taking out the Blades, ladies and gentlemen. Taking out the Blades. Pull out the Sabres for the Buffalo Sabres after that last goal. Jack Quinn, 20 goals on the season, gets one right there in the playoffs. Big time for the Sabres as well. And ladies and gentlemen, the Buffalo Sabres able to strike back on the power play. Canadians are saying, fight back. Fight back, Buffalo. When you're going to start fighting back? And there it is. Sabres and Jack Quinn put a goal in the back of Montreal's net. It is the Sabres right now with 1 goal advantage in Game 6 at the Bell Hockey Night in Canada. Right now, puck taken along the boards. It is in the Canadiens' defensive zone. And this one stopped. Puck goes out of play.
Go-ahead goal for Buffalo as they take the lead for the second time tonight. They were up 1-0, 32 seconds in. Quinn on the power play.
8 minutes and 26 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, left in the second period.
Thompson has 2 assists.
The Buffalo Sabres lead with 1 goal, 4-3 over the Montreal Canadiens.
The Canadiens youngster, a tremendous prospect, had 9 wins in the regular season, has never played.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, face-off win by the Canadiens. Take the puck into the Buffalo zone, shot on net, and this play is stopped after the whistle. Birthday, definitely thinking of having a pretty epic day with you guys. A lot of streaming. It is going to be a pretty fucking crazy day for streaming with all the things that I'm thinking about doing. But the Bills and the Raiders, I definitely would like to have here on my birthday, October 18th. So we can look forward to that in the future. Halloween, still have my ideas, obviously, what I'm going to do for that Halloween special this year. Thanksgiving, we have the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs playing in Buffalo at the new stadium for the Bills in Orchard Park. And it's the first time ever that the Buffalo Bills will host a Thanksgiving game. So really big game right there on Thanksgiving Day in Buffalo, New York for the Bills and the Chiefs. Definitely going to try to stream that one with you guys here on the channel. And Christmas, still not decided what I entirely want to do for Christmas, but they have scheduled the Bills and the Broncos. Don't know yet if we're going to actually stream that one. But I would like to have, obviously, a holiday special here this year for 2026. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day special, something. But the Bills and the Broncos will be playing on Christmas Day, 2026, December 25th. So still not decided what I want to do yet for Christmas, but that is an option. 7:50 to go, still in the second period. And the Buffalo Sabres still up by 1 goal. 4-3, Buffalo Sabres scored the last goal to take away that tie. And the tiebreaker came from Buffalo now. Number 91 for the Sabres, Doan gets it down low in the Canadian zone. Sabres passing it around. Good hit right there from the Canadians. Laying the smack down in Montreal. Good hit right there from Buffalo as well as the Canadians tried to skate in the zone. Now the Sabres on a 2-on-1, and that is a goal for the Buffalo Sabres, ladies and gentlemen. 2-on-1 goal for the Buffalo Sabres. What is happening to the Montreal Canadiens now? You see it live, ladies and gentlemen. After the goal, the Sabres made it a 4-3 game, and now great pass right there on the numbers advantage. 2-1 down low in front of the net. Great pass, and it goes to the Buffalo Sabres, making it a 5-3 game for Game 6 at the Bell in Montreal. Hockey night in Canada doesn't get much better than this, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, we are watching Buffalo hockey at its finest. We are watching some Buffalo hockey at its finest. As I said earlier in the stream, statistically speaking, the Canadiens not the greatest team after a win in a playoff series. They've struggled a lot, but if the Canadiens do lose, somehow they're sitting at 5-0 undefeated. So the Canadiens are really good after a loss, just not that great once the other team decides to win. Or I'm sorry, once the other team decides to take a loss, the Canadiens are not that great. So Sabres lost the last game. Canadiens, they're not coming off of a win. They're not coming off of that undefeated streak this game around for Game 6. It is in the Sabres' favor. If you guys are out there gambling, making any bets tonight, legally, illegally, Buffalo Sabres are the underdog, but statistically speaking, Canadiens not the favorite team to win, even though they've won the last game. Canadiens have been undefeated after a win. Or I'm sorry, after a loss. Keep mixing that one up. Because it's not too often that we hear that a team is 5-0 after a loss in the playoffs, undefeated in a series after taking a loss, but that is how it is for the Montreal Canadiens right now. So because they won the last game, I'm actually expecting them to lose this game, which would be bad news bears for the Buffalo Sabres, because that would mean undefeated after a loss. The Montreal Canadiens would go into Buffalo with all the percentage, all the odds in their favor. If they lost tonight in Game 6, it would be a home ice loss. So unfortunately, sending the fans home back with tears, maybe tears of joy, who knows. Good shot right there from the Canadiens, saved by Luukkonen. But I'm kind of actually expecting, like I said, just based off of that statistic alone, the Canadiens feel like the type of team that want to actually lose tonight. I'm not saying that they want to, but they've played a hell of a lot better when they lose, and they have to play that next game in the series. Again, undefeated after a loss. So if the Canadiens are trying to lose tonight to bring the series back to Buffalo for a Game 7, things could really fucking go wrong for Buffalo in home territory, because the Canadiens could have a very crazy mentality playing out in their heads right now. But right now, the Sabres do control the game. They have made the comeback here in period 2. So the Sabres right now 2-goal lead in the second period.
Take a deep breath and follow.
As I said though, going into this game, it was a little bit of a tricky thing to know that the Canadiens are undefeated after taking a loss in a game. So if I was the Canadiens, considering somehow they played better, not only do they play better after a loss, but the Buffalo Sabres have one of the worst home ice defenses. The Sabres play like shit when we play home ice in Buffalo. So maybe the Canadiens could be also thinking, hey, Game 7 might not sound too bad either. Create the ultimate upset in Buffalo, New York. All the Sabres fans watching live. And eliminate the Sabres in a Game 7 could be the dream scenario for the Canadiens, maybe. But I do know right now, currently in Montreal, it is the Sabres with the 2-goal advantage over the Canadiens. Last goal from Jack Quinn. And now we are in 5 minutes and 22 seconds left in the second period. 5-3 Sabres over the Canadiens in Montreal. Tonight's goal scorers for Buffalo, Jason Zucker, Zach Benson, and Jack Quinn. Zucker, Benson, and Quinn for the Buffalo Sabres have all scored tonight. And now the worst face-off team in the year. Worst face-off team in the National Hockey League is out there winning them tonight. Game 6 at the Bell. Hockey Night in Canada. Sabres fighting for some big wins on the face-off in the Canadian zone. That one gets away from them, though. Now Canadians on the attack. Now they're crediting Duane there for a good defensive effort right there. Gets the puck away from the Montreal Canadiens. Benson sends it back to the D. Now Montreal out here passing it around. They get it over the blue line. Right now, ladies and gentlemen, 4 minutes and 15 seconds left in the second period. All the Sabres really have to do is play defense, and they can wrap this thing up and bring it back to Buffalo, New York for Game 7. And the dream scenario tonight for Buffalo would become a reality where they can force a Game 7 back in Buffalo. Because right now, in the best-of-7 series, Sabres are down 3-2. Montreal Canadiens do lead in the best-of-7. This penalty is on Alex Tuch for 2 minutes.
And it's because Buffalo's had the puck all of the time. They haven't had to defend like this.
Looks like slashing right there on Alex Tuch. So it is a Montreal power play, 2 minutes. It's hooking on Alex Tuch, actually. Hooking called on the Buffalo Sabres and Alex Tuch for minutes. So Montreal, they get the power play here. And that is a big opportunity for them. They really need a goal right now. Still with some time here left in the second. Montreal passing it around in the Sabres zone. That rebound goes to the front. Sabres get it back and bring it back down to the ice. Now Montreal passing around. Caulfield and Suzuki out there for the power play line of the Canadiens. 1:35 left on the Montreal power play with 3 minutes and 35 seconds left in the second period. Buffalo's penalty kill unit and the penalty kill line for Buffalo have not been great. They do not take a lot of chances here to get a stick on the puck. If anything, it feels like they just want to survive all 2 minutes in their zone, which is not the smart thing to do, especially against a team like the Montreal Canadiens. Now passing it around again, back in the Sabres zone. Montreal getting a lot of good views here. Just trying to find the right pass and the right opening. That one gets deflected back to center ice, so Canadians have to avoid offsides, bring it back a little bit. Now Hudson skates right in for Montreal. And the Canadians still all time on possession. Sabres have not even attempted to take this puck away. All 2 minutes have been played in their zone, basically. And 20 seconds left on the Montreal power play. Sabres really struggling here with the power play of Montreal. That's good passes here, still for the Canadiens. Damn near a last effort right there on this power play. Canadians can't get it. And this one is all said and done. Now Buffalo gets Tuch out of the penalty box. One-on-one breakaway. After Tuch rushed right out of the penalty box, Sabres passed it right up the ice to him. One-on-one breakaway. Alex Tuch choked on it for the Sabres, but the Sabres still sitting at a 2-goal lead in Montreal. And it sounds like now another skater going to be sent to the box.
This will be an illegal substitution, but not a penalty.
It is an illegal substitution on Montreal, not a penalty.
He's got the opening, and he wants to go up over Dobish's glove. When you sit in the penalty box as a is all you think about at the end of the penalty. Maybe I can get a breakaway if this thing pops out. Tuck gets it. Dobish stays
And it's actually going to be a penalty on Buffalo because Tuck not allowed to break away that early. Illegal substitution again, ladies and gentlemen. The player's already on the ice for the penalty kill unit of Buffalo, the penalty kill line of Buffalo. Alex Tuck never included in that line. So as soon as Alex Tuck stepped out of the box and thought he had a breakaway, that is not allowed. Going to have to earn your ice time when your line is out there working. Right now, 1:20 left in the second. 5-3, the Sabres over the Canadiens. Again, that has been a weak link here for the Buffalo Sabres. As I've said before, penalty kill line, just dreadful. The boys cannot get their stick on the puck. They cannot even fucking attempt to clear the puck, it seems like, to kill some time off of the clock when the opposing team does get a power play. You hate to see other teams just sit all 2 minutes in your zone with a power play and pepper spray your goalie and try to blind that man with whatever kind of shots that they want to take. Face off here. Face off in the Buffalo zone. Face off lost by the Sabres. This face off goes back to the Canadian zone, now lost in the zone to the Sabres, who take a shot on net. Sabres passing it around now. Good shot right there, down low in the slot. Can't get it past the brick wall for the Canadiens, who right now has some openings. Brick wall has been opened up a little bit. Puck sent all the way back to the Montreal zone. Carrier gets on it, and this one's sent out of play now. Stop on the play. 33 seconds left, ladies and gentlemen, in the second. And the Buffalo Sabres still lead with 2 goals, 5-3 over the Montreal Canadiens. Can the Sabres force a Game 7 and bring it back to Buffalo? That is the question. Right now, all the Sabres have to do is play some defense, and that could very much become a reality. Currently, if a Game 7 is necessary, it would happen on Monday night, ladies and gentlemen. So, Monday Night Raw back here in the city of Buffalo for Game 7. Not the WWE, but the NHL. It would be, if necessary, Game 7 in Buffalo. Monday night, Sabres and the Canadiens. Like I said, all the Sabres really have to do right now is play some defense. And they can, in the next 20 minutes, think about a Game 7. 15 seconds left in the second period. Sabres get it behind the net and still passing it around. Time of possession. Sabres still taking good shots here. And now it is the end of the period, ladies and gentlemen. Second period has come to an end. As we get ready for our next intermission, I'm going to step out of the room, get a little bit of a drink, a little bit of refill on the soda. So please grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink. I will be right back for story time with Demonic here for the second intermission.
Entertaining 20 minutes of Stanley Cup playoff hockey. I'm joined as always by Mark Messier. We're going to have Kevin Weeks with us. We'll get to PK Subban and Montreal in a second. If you're scoring at home, and we hope you are, last game Buffalo scored 3 goals on the first 4 shots and lost 6-3. Tonight, Montreal had 3 goals on their first 4 shots, and they're losing 5-3 going to the third. How about this turnaround?
We talked about at the top of the show that Montreal is going to have to handle the pressure, and they're going to have to handle their emotions. I think they were a little bit deflated when Buffalo came back after having that big lead. Buffalo came out with the strongest, most desperate period we've seen probably in the playoffs for
dominant.
And Montreal just seemed a little bit flattened. Buffalo took advantage of that period.
Buffalo stampeded them.
Yes, they did.
They stampeded them. They trampled them in that period. 17-9 shots, fellas. That was dominant.
Yeah.
They needed it. Let's check in with the Subinator, OPK. What are your thoughts on the way the second period has changed the outcome of this game?
Well, Buffalo understands that their season's dwindling in the wind. And
the season for Buffalo dwindling in the wind, as said by PK Subban. Okay, second intermission now, ladies and gentlemen. So we are going to have some story time here with Demonic. Man, what would we like to talk about? I guess I can talk about a lot of the history on YouTube for me. Just a lot of my origin story on YouTube. I've been around YouTube since about 2007, just about the dawn of YouTube, when it was not even as popular as a platform as it is today. People were not making money for uploading videos or anything like that. But when I first came around YouTube, James Rolfe, the Angry Video Game Nerd Cinemassacre, was one of the first things I watched. I really wanted to start making videos like that because I always knew that James Rolfe was a fan of Joe Bob Briggs, and Monster Vision and The Last Drive-In. So his style of doing like comedy and reviews I really liked. I always wanted to do stuff like that, but in terms of like gaming, I really wanted to get into a thing called Machinima, which was a really big gaming channel back in the day. They always used to do things with like Fallout, and they created the Red versus Blue series for Halo, I think it was called. But Machinima videos was definitely something that I really wanted to get into and start doing my own thing on YouTube. Again, I just never really had the financial ability to do so. Couldn't really afford nice capture cards. When I started making videos on YouTube and even just started, doing montages for Call of Duty and everything, they were just really basic, not the highest quality or anything like that. But 2009 really started getting into Optic Gaming and Team Envious. Ended up, losing my father around 2012, which kind of affected my history with sports and a lot of my sports background. Always wanted to grow up, be a pro wrestler, and kind of live my dream being a pro wrestler for the rest of my life. Once my dad passed away, though, things changed for me, and I started focusing a lot more on my music. And, me and my best friend at the time in high school, his name was Noah, we used to play Call of Duty competitively. We used to do game battles. We used to have our MLG accounts. We used to actually compete. We didn't get to travel a lot or actually go in person to meet a lot of the players or anything because, again, we just never had that financial ability to travel or to, become a friend in the group chat of the clique that is the Call of Duty community today. But I will say this, both of our goal was to play for Optic Gaming. And I thought we were at least good enough. If we weren't good enough to play for Optic Gaming, we were going to be good enough to play for Team Envious, which is another team that I really wanted to play for, Envy. I was like, man, if we're not good enough to play for Optic, we at least got to be good enough to play for Envy. And I knew in my heart of hearts, one of us was going to make it pro. Like, if it wasn't going to be me, it was going to be him. And if it wasn't going to be him, it was going to be me. And we would both essentially come back for the other. Like, we had made that promise and that commitment to the other. Even if the other becomes successful or gets the chance to basically be a pro and make some money, they would come back for the other person and make sure that they're doing okay in life. So, and I still have that mentality a lot of time with my music. But for 2009, I started getting into professional gaming, pretty much competitive gaming, MLG stuff. And at the time, nobody in competitive gaming was trying to make money or fucking do the stuff you're seeing nowadays with streaming and all the popularity it has behind it now with investments and just big sponsorships. We were just doing it because we loved the game. I just wanted to have a channel where I was able to show my ideas. Got into Optic Gaming and used to think, wow, I'll just be a really good entertainer. And that's how, Optic is going to find me and want to work with me. That is not how it worked back in the day. To be a competitive player and at least to play for Optic Gaming, you would have to, show up in person at the tournaments, compete against that pool, compete against that bracket of players, and prove yourself against those players, that bracket. That is how Optic realizes who you are and your name in the community. That is how you build your name in the community. It's just that simple. You have to show up to the events. You have to compete at the events at the players that are there and wanting to do the same thing as you. So we were never associated with that pool of players or that bracket of players. The last time I ever played Call of Duty competitively and even enjoyed it was Call of Duty Ghost. Eminem did the theme song for that with Survival. Last time I ever wanted to even fucking touch Call of Duty was Call of Duty Ghosts. That was it for me. That was the last time I ever enjoyed it. So after that, my friend Noah, he pretty much went off to do like more PC gaming, and he got into playing Fortnite and Battle Royale, which was never really my favorite style of gameplay. I don't really care for the Battle Royals. Me, when I grew up, the first ever competitive game that I ever played, and interestingly enough, it's created by Epic, who now do Fortnite, but they created a series back in the day, Unreal Tournament, really popular franchise as well with my brother. But Unreal Tournament 3 was the first ever competitive game I ever played. After that, it was Call of Duty 4, World at War, Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty Black Ops. I really felt like, though, my prime for competitive was definitely Black Ops 2 and Ghost, because I was able to play with my best friend. After school, we would go to each other's houses. We had our TVs set up back to back with each other. And that was, pretty much the prime of my competitive gaming career. Once we kind of drifted apart after high school, I started focusing on what kind of content I wanted to do gaming wise and just explore a lot more of the games that I like, such as Resident Evil, Silent Hill. My favorite series of all time is Fallout, the Fallout franchise from Bethesda. So I really just wanted to showcase a lot more of that here on the channel. It's unfortunate because I feel like as much love as I have for the gaming stuff, people don't really come here as much for gaming content. 2016, the year this channel was created, I was playing Doom 2016 competitively. Doom, another game by Bethesda. So Doom 2016 came out. It was like this whole remake thing for Doom, and it was finally back. Played it competitively, and I actually held about a 5 or a 6 KD in that game. I posted a picture of my KD on my Facebook when I still had it at that time, and my KD was a 5 or a 6. Unfortunately, in 2016, that when I started uploading content here on the channel and when I started showing my game plays from Doom, it was more towards the end of my career, and I was already burnt out everything with competitive and trying to make that thing kind of happen for me. So I didn't really highlight it as much here on the channel because I was just really just done with competitive and trying to even make a name for myself in the gaming community. Played Doom 2016, and again, I had about a 5 or a 6 KD, held that down consistently. If you've ever played Doom 2016, it is not an easy game to say you can do that online multiplayer. So I held down my 5 and 6 KD. Nobody ever requested to play with me. No teams ever reached out to me. Never got any contract offers, anything like that. So I basically just said, yeah, this gaming thing might not really be for me. And that's when I really started exploring more of what I can actually share on the channel, what I actually am interested in playing, the games that I actually want to play. And it's been some good memories. One of the things for me, like I said, I can't say entirely that I'm upset that there's not a lot of gaming content on the channel right now, because again, I've always wanted to make my channel feel like an Optic Gaming or a 100 Thieves one day, where it's not just so much going to be about me and my content. I'll have the ability to sign other entertainers, other creators, other people. Maybe they play games, maybe they don't. Just everybody can come here and share their ideas. That's what it's all about for me. Because again, guys, that red diamond is not going to earn itself. But that is the goal for the channel. Hopefully we can just build a really nice community and just have a really amazing team one day of all these entertainers and all these creators here on the channel. When I think about how far I've come, I mean, even now, if I was to upload a short of one of my music songs, if I was to just upload one of my studio demos, a short alone could get more views than anything that I uploaded back in the day on one of my YouTube channels. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure even on my music channels from 2012, 2013, the highest amount of views, they haven't even surpassed maybe 10,000. So here on my channel, since I've had this one since 2016, Phenomena Legend Killers, since I've had this channel since 2016, we're at about 98,000 views in total. That's with everything throughout all the years. So we're damn near at 100K views in total for the entire time that we've been on YouTube, which is almost at, it's basically 10 years now since 2016. We're in 2026, so it's been about a 10-year process. And I know sitting at 200 subscribers, we don't have a lot of success to show for ourselves, but I definitely feel like I think about the ideas and how to improve this channel all the time. Like I said, there's still ideas where I'm thinking, hey, maybe one day we'll do some ghost hunting content. Maybe one day I'll do some fishing content with you guys. I love fishing. I fish for catfish all the time down here in South Buffalo. Maybe one day we'll do some camping content with the blizzards here in Buffalo. Who the fuck knows? Try and go out there and survive a night in the wilderness. Do something fun here on the channel, obviously, to make it a little bit more open and to try to grow the audience and grow the community is definitely a lot of the goal for right now. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Game 6 at the Bell in Montreal, hockey night in Canada. The Sabres and the Canadiens find themselves in a Game 6 in Montreal. Sabres right now leading with 2 goals over the Canadiens. But when I think about all my time here on YouTube, I really wish I still had my original YouTube channel, because I feel like that's actually something that matters to me now, is like how long I've actually had the channel or when I created it. I've been around YouTube since 2009, guys. Really, 2007 watching videos. But the first time I ever tried to make my own content was basically 2009. So I know right now on this channel, the date doesn't say that at all. It says this channel was created in 2016, which is fine. But I just wish I definitely always had my original YouTube channel. When I used to make videos originally, and even though they weren't the best quality, when I first started getting into it, I used to have a $100 camera. It was just a video camera, $100 that I got for my birthday the one year. And that is actually how I would record a lot of my music. And that was my music studio, was just that little video camera. So I found a way to actually use that camera and turn it into this thing where I could create my YouTube videos, record my gameplays, record my music. It was this all-in-one equipment piece, and it was essential to me as a content creator because, goddamn, I love that camera. I actually, that camera isn't with me anymore. A friend of mine from high school who actually wanted to grow up and be a comedian, they didn't have much of anything to kind of work with either in terms of gear or equipment. And right around the time when I was like graduating, I think it might have been like 2015, 2016, I already had kind of gotten all my use out of that video camera that I needed. And it was already, obviously it was a later model, like a few years old. So it already had some wear and tear on it. But I knew he wanted to be a comedian, and I just gave it to him to kind of try to help him do his ideas and hopefully follow his dreams and do his thing as well. But I haven't seen that video camera ever since. But that is how I used to make a lot of my content. It used to just be this all-in-one thing for me. I'd record my gameplays. I'd record my music. It was the studio. It was the capture card. It was everything all in one for me. And then, like I said, just towards the end of my graduation in high school, one of my friends, I knew he wanted to be a comedian, and that was his dream. So I kind of just let him have that as a gift. Basically gave it to him and just said, hey, man, don't even worry about it. You don't got to pay me back or anything. Just go, create some fun stuff and do what you love. But I've been thinking so long over all the years that I've spent on YouTube, how much it's changed. Like I said, from one day, you lose your dad and you think, oh, I'm going to be a pro wrestler and I'm going to do the pro wrestling thing with the rest of my life. Hopefully get accepted into the family. And that's the only thing I've ever wanted in pro wrestling. That's all it is for me, is just to be accepted into the family. That's all I need. So when people talk about their dreams and everything in wrestling, wrestling doesn't owe you anything. All I've ever wanted and needed is to be accepted into the family that we call pro wrestling. And, I think my dad would be kind of proud of me to know that even after he passed away, I still found that wrestling school in Lackawanna. And still tried to follow my dreams, even though I couldn't afford it. Even though I could not afford to follow my dreams, I still I stepped foot through the door, and not only did I step foot through the door, I got accepted into the family. And again, that's all I needed, and that's all I wanted. So for me, maybe in the future, some writing and some booking and possible future promoter for the WWE or something. I don't know, chat, but hopefully there's some good. As we've talked about 2026, and Eminem obviously comes up a lot in the chat and the conversation. Eminem right now, the opening theme for Monday Night Raw in 2026 with Godzilla. So again, somehow these things in my life always end up finding a way back to me. Or at least it's just very coincidental how a lot of the things that I love and am a fan of are always in my relation and always kind of associated with me in my stories that I share here. During Game 6 at the Bell in Montreal, hockey night in Canada, ladies and gentlemen. It is Saturday night, playoff hockey. I'm in Buffalo, New York. The boys are in Montreal, Canada. And we got a situation occurring because the Sabres are currently up by 2 goals as the Canadiens are trying to fight back and possibly tie this one up in the third, take it to an overtime, maybe close it out in the third, eliminate the Sabres, who knows. But that is the situation that is brewing right now for the third period in Game 6 between the Sabres and the Canadiens. So I definitely, once upon a time thought I was going to do the pro wrestling thing, and that was just going to be my life entirely. And then after my dad passed away, like I said, I just started focusing a lot more on my music and trying to do more gaming content. And at the time, MLG was a thing. Now MLG and game battles, they don't really exist anymore. You actually have to kind of be in the clique and in the group of like the friend community of Call of Duty to even like make it to anybody competing on that level or anything. It seems like now everybody's a friend. It's all friends wrestling. Everybody in the Call of Duty League is essentially each other's friends, so they all kind of like look out for each other. It's all a clique, ladies and gentlemen. We're live. It is the third period. It is official. We have started. The Sabres 5-3 currently over the Canadiens at the start of the third. But I think about it, and I knew that we were good enough. We were definitely good enough to fucking win a championship. If me and my friend wanted to really take it serious, one of us were either going to play for Optic and Team Envy, and we were going to fucking bring that team a championship. That was just bound to happen. I knew that 100%. Unfortunately, like I said, things went the way that they went. We drifted apart. Everybody kind of went their own way. He always had his girlfriend and stuff with him, so I was always kind of solo and alone anyways, kind of trying to figure shit out and what I'm going to do. Canadiens right now trying to fight for the puck in the Sabres zone. But I do think about it all the time, like, damn, if we really would have stuck with it, we would have been just as good as anybody that you see playing today. Really, the era that I probably would have got accepted into, like, Optic Gaming, what if, right? If I did, I've always said it would have had to be around, like, Black Ops 4 or probably even, like, World War II era for Call of Duty, because that's when they really lacked the teammates and they really needed better teammates, I feel like. Me, personally, I'm just saying I would have been gunning for Illy's spot. So it would have basically came down to me taking Illy's spot on the Optic Gaming roster and being that kind of a player and that kind of a teammate for them. So whenever I see, that kind of era for Optic around like Black Ops 4, World War II, that probably would have been our best bet at actually getting accepted and joining Optic or Envy. And if you guys know nowadays, Optic was originally in Chicago, moved to Texas. Envy became Dallas Empire, and then they disbanded. But Empire is now owned by the same people that own Optic Gaming. So Optic, Dallas, Texas, Optic, Texas, Dallas Optic. It's the same right now with Dallas Empire and Team Envious. Essentially, they are the same. They're owned by the same people. They're the same organization. Two different names, two different affiliates, obviously. But it is all owned by the same people now. So again, Optic and Envy, they became the same powerful being. And I never would have thought that could happen, but here we are, 2026, ladies and gentlemen. Two teams that I wanted to play for, and now they literally are the same team. For me, I feel like the Optic thing is still possible. I definitely would like to still be an entertainer and a streamer for them. I'm just never playing competitive Call of Duty again. I'm good on the competitive Call of Duty. I'll watch Optic play, of course. I'll watch the Huntsman play. But I am no longer interested in anymore trying to fucking grind and deal with games like Call of Duty anymore. And again, just games that I don't really enjoy or support. If I'm ever going to do some kind of content, I always want it to be stuff that I want to share with you guys and obviously stuff that I care about. So if I'm just not a fan of the game, I don't really want to put it all on my channel. One of my least favorite game developers, the most overrated game developer for me is Rockstar. I hate Rockstar games. 15 minutes and 50 seconds left in the third. This could potentially be the longest 15 minutes for the Buffalo Sabres, defensively speaking. That icing will be on the Buffalo Sabres. But the Sabres, ladies and gentlemen, still lead with 2 goals over the Montreal Canadiens. It is 5-3 in Montreal. Game 6 at the Bell Hockey Night in Canada. It is Saturday night. Hopefully everybody out there enjoying their weekend. Are you out there eating some pizza and some chicken wings?
Funny, that's what Lindy Ruff said about the Sabres before the game when he talked to us. He said, we want simple, we want quick, and the Sabres have been better at it.
Sabres, good defensive result right there, no goal. Game 7 Monday, if necessary. I believe they said will be at 7:30 p.m. Good shot right there from Hudson. An absolute one-timer as he skated past the blue line. Just couldn't find the net, way too wide. And now Thompson was trying to go over the blue line. Sabres turn it over on the pass. Canadiens, right now, still trying to remain on the attack. Put all the pressure here on the offense for Montreal, because they still need these 2 goals back with only 14 minutes left in the third period. Time slowly getting away from the Montreal Canadiens. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, last game the Montreal Canadiens did win. Or I'm sorry, yeah, they did win. It is 3-2 in the best of 7. Good take beyond the line here for the Sabres. Just couldn't find anything on the possession now. And right now, both teams skating around a lot, which is not what you want to see for Montreal. Down 2 goals. A lot of time just being killed off of that clock. 14 minutes left in the third. Montreal really has to start finding a play here and start finding it soon if they want to stay alive in Game 6. Trying to hold down home ice. Good hit right there. Good hit right there from the Buffalo Sabres. And now 13 minutes and 40 seconds left in the third. Good shot right there from Benson, Buffalo Sabre. Good opportunity for the Canadiens here. That one. Brick wall by the Sabres. Not letting the goal get past them. Good effort here defensively by the Buffalo Sabres, who have controlled a lot of this period. And an offside called right there for Buffalo.
And for the most part, they've gone with 5 defensemen. Betza has seen spot duty, has been fine, but he's been out there.
Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, the Montreal Canadiens won the last game. So, statistically speaking, they're 5-0 undefeated after a loss. That would mean all the favor would be in the Buffalo Sabres corner. And all their momentum tonight for a victory in Montreal should, technically speaking, go to the Sabres, which would kind of spell out, it could spell out the end. It could be fatal for Buffalo headed back to Game 7 in Buffalo, New York. Because again, once the Canadiens lose a game, they're undefeated. So Buffalo will have to really be prepared to battle it out and have a war in Game 7 on Monday if they can make it happen. And they are about 13 minutes away from making it happen, ladies and gentlemen.
You work hard and save your money so you can have all this. By the time you're like 87, then it hits you.
We know that the Montreal Canadiens would love nothing more than to come back to Buffalo, New York, and eliminate the Sabres in Buffalo, in their home territory, and embarrass them in front of hometown fans, and eliminate them from the 2026 NHL Stanley Cup playoffs.
Tech gear. Everyone's wearing it.
They would love nothing more than to do so, but in order to do so, the Canadiens, they got to win at least one more game in this best-of-7 series. Right now, they're down by 2 goals. They still have some time left in the third.
Stay connected. Everybody stay connected.
There's Lindy Ruff talking to the Buffalo Sabres in their locker room. Of course, that's not the Sabres' actual locker room in Buffalo, but it's close enough tonight. It's close enough tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We are back. We are live. Buffalo Sabres and Montreal Canadiens, Game 6 at the Bell, Hockey Night in Canada. Saturday night playoff hockey, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully anybody out there enjoying some pizza, enjoying some chicken wings, maybe even some poutine fries. I do love a nice poutine from all my Montreal Canadiens. I will say, the least favorite pizza for me, being an Italian, I don't care if you like pineapple pizza. I don't care if you like Hawaiian pizza. I don't care if you like anchovy pizza. I'm okay with all of that. My least favorite pizza of all time, the worst pizza for me as an Italian, is breakfast pizza. I fucking hate breakfast pizza with a passion. Every time I see somebody order breakfast pizza, I get upset and I get disappointed because I'm like, why couldn't we just have regular pizza, a normal standard pizza, cheese, pepperoni, sauce? Breakfast pizza is not fucking pizza. I'm not hearing it, and I will debate that. Nobody is ever talking about it. It might be an unpopular opinion, but I fucking hate breakfast pizza. And it might just be the ones that I've had over the years, or just the ones that I've had, but they sucked. They definitely suck. As an Italian, I cannot fucking stand for it. I do not like breakfast pizza. It is overrated. Every time I see it, it's ordered, it's sitting right there. People spent money on this. I'm like, we could have just had a regular pizza for that. You spent the money on breakfast pizza, we could have just had a regular pizza for all that. I would say some of my favorite pizzas, though, obviously regular, casual. I do love buffalo chicken. And I also like, it's called a trio pizza. It's got pesto, vodka, and red sauce, so that's really good. But breakfast pizza is my worst pizza. I hate breakfast pizza. As an Italian, I don't care if people like pineapple pizza, Hawaiian pizza, anchovy pizza. I'm cool with all that. But if breakfast pizza is in my vicinity, if it's in my eyesight, I just might have to throw that motherfucker on the ground. Absolutely the worst. Why could we have just not spent the money on regular pizza for all that?
The NHL app is your place to get
Breakfast pizza, please stop calling yourself a pizza. You are not pizza. And there has never been a breakfast pizza that I've actually liked or even enjoyed. So if you like pineapple pizza, good for you. If you like your Hawaiian pizza, that's good. Anchovies, whatever. I just cannot fucking stand breakfast pizza. I do like the trio pizza though, where it's like all three sauces with the red sauce, the vodka, and the pesto. That's been really good. I do like that one recently. For me, the go-to is always going to be the traditional New York style kind of pizza. But I do really like Detroit style, where it's more of a deep dish. I will be honest, I do like Detroit style pizza, where it is more of a deep dish. Never had Chicago style, but I would like to try it one day. I know that is really more heavily favored on the sauce. I know Chicago style is definitely a little more heavy on the sauce. A little more heavy on the sauce. Sauce. It's a little thicker. A little heavier on the sauce. A little thicker. But I like that. I would try it definitely in Chicago if I ever get the chance. Definitely Chicago pizza and Chicago style hot dogs. Buffalo on the power play for the next 2 minutes. And there's 10 minutes and 45 seconds left in the third period for Game 6 at the Bell in Montreal. It is Hockey Night in Canada. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for checking out the channel, spending some time with me here on the watch along. It is a Saturday night to enjoy some hockey and to enjoy this great game that we know and love. Another year for the playoffs, Stanley Cup Championship on the line. But right now, the team that wins this series, they're going to move on to the Eastern Conference Championship. Duane lets a shot off his stick. He can't get it to go. Sabres right now passing it around. In the Canadian zone, we have 1:20 left on the Sabres power play. And the Sabres do get a goal there off a tough angle shot from Tage Thompson. My boy Tage Thompson. You know the fans in Buffalo love to see that. That one going to go right to Tage Thompson. I call him Tommy 20. It reminds me of the Thompson submachine gun. I like to nickname him Tommy 20. If only we could change that jersey number to a 20 and the camera could fucking do what it needs to do. Okay. Tommy 20 Thompson. Tage Thompson with the last goal for the Buffalo Sabres. It is getting kind of mental out there for the Canadiens now, who really needed the last two back, and now they're down by 3. So it's looking a little bit reminiscent, a little bit like deja vu from the last game, is it not, ladies and gentlemen? History repeats itself, does it not? Now the Sabres here in Game 6, they are sitting at 3 goals, or 3-goal advantage over the Canadiens. Jacob Fowler has been put in the net now for Montreal, so the Canadiens have even given up on their goalie for the rest of this period and the game here for Game 6 in Montreal. So now Fowler in the net for the Montreal Canadiens. Both teams here in Game 6 have made goalie adjustments. They've both taken out their starting goalies, and they've put the bench goalie in place for the rest of the game. Is it going to be the difference that the Canadiens are looking for? Probably not. But they can at least hold on knowing that they do control the series right now with the game advantage. Best of 7, Montreal 3-2 over the Sabres. So right now, Buffalo, if they can defensively just hold on to this lead, they can definitely bring a Game 7 back to Buffalo, New York. But we have seen recently in this Game 6, both teams have changed their starting goalies. So the Canadiens have officially given up on their starting goalie. They do make the change and throw in Fowler. Will it be the necessary change? Who knows? Canadiens still sitting down and out 3-3 the Sabres, with Buffalo leading 6-3. And that shot by Byram goes wide of the net. Fowler finally gets some ice time for the Canadiens here in this series. And ladies and gentlemen, 8 minutes and 45 seconds will remain in the third. So the Sabres absolutely doing what they need to do right now. An offensive onslaught by the boys from Buffalo. And all the Sabres need to do for the next 8 minutes is just play defense. And it's pretty much bring a Game 7 back to Buffalo, New York. Canadiens, they're trying to put some oxygen back in the tank, or at least trying to reload that son of a bitch. The tank right now, it's out of ammunition. And all the boys inside are sitting ducks for the Montreal Canadiens, who are still at war with the Sabres in Montreal. They're down by 3. And it looks like right now Montreal just trying to find the ammo necessary to compete with whatever the Sabres have left for them in Game 6. Good power play goal right there from Jack Quinn. Jack Quinn tallying up the power play goals tonight for the Buffalo Sabres. Love to see it. Love to hear it. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for checking out the channel, spending some time with me tonight to enjoy some hockey.
We're almost back.
Did decide to change up the logo, the icon here, the profile picture, if you will, here on YouTube. So hopefully, not the worst decision I've ever made. I don't know how I feel about it so far. I do like it because it is Bugs Bunny dressed as Batman. But I'm still trying to let it settle in a little bit.
I found these berries. Oh, very poisonous. Yeah.
When the connection matters.
Usually, I make all the necessary channel adjustments or channel upgrades kind of around August, because that's really the only month that I feel like time to kind of make those changes and stuff, to think about that kind of stuff. But for some reason, I was feeling like we needed to change it up now. For some reason, something in me was telling me, hey, new profile picture, yeah?
You wouldn't feed your kids just water.
So there you go. New profile picture here on YouTube for us. We'll see how long it sticks, how long it lasts.
Including the $5, $7, and $9 box are going to people's heads. Now they're expecting everything to be as looks.
Where's the doorman?
There is no doorman. That's why we're waiting.
Shout out to Mighty Taco here in Buffalo, New York. Shout out to Louis Texas Hots. Louis Texas style hot dogs. I do really like Louis. They also sell burgers and stuff there as well, not just hot dogs, but good little hot dog joint, little hot dog diner, Louis. Ted's is another popular one for their broiler style hot dogs. Ted's is really good, but Louis is Texas Hots, and then Ted's is like more of that broiler style. Both very good. When I would do Taekwondo growing up, after every one of my sessions, and this is not me trying to sound fat, this is just like the way that my diet was, I could really put shit away if I can afford it. And that's one of the things that sucks, because now it's like there'll be some days where I kind of don't even get to eat dinner or eat anything at all. But there were times when I was growing up doing Taekwondo, after practice or after our sparring sessions and everything, I would have the ability to maybe go get some Mighty Taco, go out to Louis, and getting some hot dogs and some fries with the chili sauce at Louis. That was like one of my favorites. I really like Louis chili sauce on their fries and hot dogs. But that is a memory that I'll always take from the Taekwondo practices and the sparrings. After going out to get some Super Mighty Pack, maybe some Louis hot dogs and fries. Now all those things are kind of in the past because I don't really get to enjoy life anymore.
Nobody's making a whole play. Nobody's trying to be too effective, too aggressive with the pocket. Short support. We heard Lindy Ruff talk about that.
Lindy Ruff and the Buffalo Sabres came into enemy territory tonight and turn some heads like The Exorcist. It is an empty net currently on the ice for Montreal. So, like I said, that's pretty much Montreal throwing in the white flag. Automatic forfeit as soon as you take the goalie off the ice. And with 7 minutes still left in the game, a really stupid decision from the Montreal Canadiens, if I do say so myself. 7 minutes left in the game. Montreal take the goalie out of the net. They're down by 3 goals. So good luck on getting the next one back, Montreal. The Canadiens had 20 minutes to get one back, and now they're trying to get one back with 7 with the extra attacker. Again, like I said, modern day, my version of hockey, ladies and gentlemen. Once you pull your goalie out of the net, that is an automatic forfeit. We pay the goalie a paycheck for a reason. That man has a job to do for a reason. You pulling him out of the net just to get an extra attacker, that's you throwing in the white towel, raising the white flag, and basically saying, hey, we're forfeiting now. 6 minutes and 25 seconds left for the Buffalo Sabres. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the Sabres, who have absolutely come out here tonight, turned heads around like The Exorcist. And the Buffalo Sabres right now, if they can just play defense for a few more minutes, it will be Game 7 in Buffalo, New York. Nobody thought that we would even go 7. They thought the Sabres could sweep in 4 because of the higher seed. Sabres did have the better regular season record, but they have had to come out and play an absolute grueling series against the Montreal Canadiens. And it is still an empty net out there for the Montreal Canadiens, ladies and gentlemen. 5:55 left in the third. Open season for the Buffalo Sabres, ladies and gentlemen. An empty net goal. We didn't earn it the right way. We didn't earn it the way that we should earn it, but we did get one because the Montreal Canadiens removed their goalie from the ice. Like I said, that man makes a paycheck. You might as well keep him out there for the rest of the 7 minutes. Now, what was a 3-goal deficit for the Montreal Canadiens sit at 4. A 4-goal game in Montreal between the Sabres and the Canadiens. Sabres right now 7-3 over the Montreal Canadiens. And we are all headed back to Buffalo for Game 7. The announcers already confirming it, ladies and gentlemen. Commentary in Montreal knows the fate has been sealed for the Canadiens in this Game 6. Not a whole lot much you can do. Like I said, after that empty net goal, it's pretty much all said and done in Montreal for the Canadiens and the Sabres. 5 minutes and 30 seconds still left to go, but really, it's just Montreal bleeding out on the ice right now. So you can tell just from body language and energy out there from the Canadiens, they just want it all over now. They want to get off the ice and start thinking about Game 7, at least a fresh start. And bringing it back to Buffalo after a loss. Like I said, Canadiens, really good team after a loss, undefeated, 5-0. So that's kind of a dream scenario for them after this tough loss in Montreal. Even though they didn't hold it down and eliminate the Sabres from the series. Realistically speaking, the Canadiens undefeated after a loss. They want to bring the series back to Buffalo and try to embarrass the Sabres in front of their own hometown fans and eliminate them from the playoffs in Buffalo for a Game 7. So right now, it's a tough loss for the Canadiens. They're going to have to play the remainder of the game, obviously, finish out the closing minutes. But you can tell they just want to get off the ice and try to bring this one back to Buffalo for a fresh start, and who knows what that Game 7 will hold, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe one of the greatest Game 7s still to come that we have yet to see between the Sabres and the Canadiens. But Sabres, right now, Monday, it is confirmed Game 7. We still have a few minutes left in the game.
Being a business owner takes hard work and a whole lot of miles. We chose the Capital One Venture X business card. We earn unlimited double miles on every purchase. And with big purchasing power, we can spend more and earn more. It's in your wallet.
But honestly, a round of applause for the boys. Buffalo Sabres. All the odds stacked against them in Game 6. Had to find a way to win it. Defensively, came out here, played a really good game. But the shooters getting the job done tonight for Buffalo. Right now, 7-3 in Montreal between the Sabres and the Canadiens.
There I was.
The Canadiens are down by 4 goals in Montreal to the Buffalo Sabres.
Energy drinks and protein drinks that were insanely delicious. I wasn't just
Monster Energy is another one that I really love. Monster, if you ever want to give your boy a sponsorship or a partnership, anything, please reach out. I'm always here.
no distractions.
Always would love to do the Monster Energy drink partnership. I reached out to them one time, but I don't think they care since I'm not really popular or famous anything. I don't really have the attendance or the subscriber count that they're looking for exactly right now. But I did try to reach out to Monster Energy one time for a partnership, just to apply for a partnership with them. Never heard anything back. Maybe one day, ladies and gentlemen, maybe one day. It would definitely be nice. I would like to have one of those little Monster Energy cooler fridges in the back. Just have it stacked with energy drinks ready to go when we need it. Especially when the Canadiens need it in situations like this for Game 6. Somebody needs to break out the fucking Monster Energy something. 4 minutes remain in Game 6 between the Sabres and the Canadiens. Sabres still leading 7-3 over the Montreal Canadiens. And really, you can tell the Canadiens, they're going to still try to make something happen, of course, but it's really all said and done in Montreal, as the Buffalo Sabres just have to play another 4 minutes, and that will be this hockey game, ladies and gentlemen, in the history books. Now the Sabres take it out of their zone, past center ice, and a dump and chase by the Sabres, all legal, shot on net. Starting to clear out over there in Montreal. I'm starting to see some empty seats out there in the Canadiens arena. The fans in Montreal very upset, taking the loss to Buffalo. Been a very intense series. It's felt a bit more personal than it should. I've never had any rivalry or anything against Montreal and their teams. But this series between the Sabres and the Canadiens has definitely felt intense as we move a few minutes closer to a Game 7, which will happen in Buffalo Monday night. And I believe they said, ladies and gentlemen, 7:30 for Game 7 Monday night in Buffalo. We will have Monday Night Raw, Game 7, Buffalo, New York. Sabres and the Canadiens. Last road win when facing elimination for the Sabres was May 16, 2007 versus the Senators. 19 years ago today. The last time, ladies and gentlemen, the Buffalo Sabres won on the road was 19 years ago today against the Ottawa Senators in 2007. So the Buffalo Sabres, history repeats itself. Ottawa Senators, Canadian team, Montreal Canadiens, Canadian team. But it has been 19 years in the making, ladies and gentlemen, since the last Buffalo Sabres road win in the playoffs. And it happened 19 years ago today, 2007, over the Canadiens. And now we got some fist flying between Greenway and 72 for the Canadiens. Greenway's involved in the hands here. I'm not too involved with that. Little one-on-one session with the hands. Greenway has obviously been talking his way into the Canadiens locker room. He's been a constant name that's been being thrown around in their locker room, I'm sure. Wow, 19 years in the making, and exactly to this day for the Buffalo Sabres since they beat the Ottawa Senators in 2007 for that last road win in the playoffs. But history, I guess it has a way of repeating itself, ladies and gentlemen. The Sabres team feels really good. They've done some big moves this season to get the players that we really need to actually compete here in the playoffs. And now they're showing the highlight reel from Greenway just being a fucking menace out there on the ice. Greenway just being a menace. The highlights over, of course, as I fucking show the TV. But we got 2:44 left in the game, at least in the third. And Buffalo gets the power play with 2 minutes. So things are going to get a lot worse here for the Canadiens before it gets better. And now we got some hands flying between the Sabres and the Canadiens. No love lost as we reach the end of the game here. Buffalo still on the power play for the next 1:55. And Montreal's already shorthanded. They're probably going to be even shorter after this. Just like a Kevin Hart height check. The Canadiens are going to be really down now. They're going to be down in the man advantage. Everybody's still exchanging some words with each other out there on the ice. But all the Buffalo Sabres have to do for the next 2 minutes is defensively not allow any goals. And you've won this game. Game 7 will take place in Buffalo, New York on Monday night. Monday Night Raw between the Sabres and the Canadiens still to come. After the face-off, Norris just decided to start slashing some players out there on the Canadiens roster.
So Matheson's, I'm assuming he's in the box, although he's still standing out on the ice. That's a freebie if you got one there.
And that could be a freebie here for the Buffalo Sabres, just getting another man advantage out there on the ice. Since the Canadiens already down a man due to the power play for Buffalo.
Almost the full 2 minutes remaining. They are sending Evans.
Evans will go.
And the Canadiens will send a man to the box.
Dave Jackson always talks about the players that are involved in this stuff with just a couple of minutes left.
No smiles at all on the bench for the Montreal Canadiens.
Towards the end of the game here,
They still got 2 minutes before it's all said and done. You know when you go get a shot at the doctor and they say it's just going to feel like a mosquito bite, it's just going to be a little pinch? Well, this little pinch is lasting a lot longer than the Montreal Canadiens would like. This mosquito bite is going to go on for the next fucking 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And all the Montreal Canadiens can do right now is look up at that scoreboard and see that 7-3 hanging over their heads. Had the chance to eliminate the Buffalo Sabres in Montreal. Couldn't close out the series. Again, Montreal not the greatest team after a win coming into the next game. So Montreal did win the last game, Game 5. Tonight, Game 6 had home ice advantage. And they choked. Sabres, 1:33 left on the power play. And good shot right there. And it's a goal on the power play for the Buffalo Sabres. What looked like Fowler was able to get down and cover. It actually went right between his legs on the 5-hole. And the Buffalo Sabres get another one, ladies and gentlemen, 8-3. 8 goals to 3 in a Game 6. The Sabres continuing to lay down the pepper spray on the goalie. Just continuing to blind the goalie with the pepper spray. The Buffalo Sabres shooters doing what they do best. Putting goals in the net putting points on the board. The Buffalo Sabres, ladies and gentlemen, in Game 6 have an 8-3 goal difference. The Buffalo Sabres, ladies and gentlemen, not backing down at all. All 2 minutes left. 2-minute warning officially has begun. And this Buffalo Sabres team is not letting go on that gas pedal as we approach the final 2 minutes of Game 6 in Montreal. Canadiens fans, the only thing they're happy about is that this game is over in the next 2 minutes and that they can at least hang on one more day as we will move closer to that Game 7 in Buffalo Monday night. But really, only thing Montreal Canadiens fans can be happy about right now is that this thing is going to be over in just a few minutes. But the Buffalo Sabres now have a 5-goal advantage in Game 6 over the Montreal Canadiens. It is 8-3. The Buffalo Sabres, 8-3. The Montreal Canadiens, 5 goals is the difference. And the Montreal Canadiens just don't have enough time on the clock at all to even think about trying to mount a comeback. With only 1:40 left on the clock, all the Canadiens can do now is just kill whatever time is left, send it down and around the boards, maybe take the last couple shot attempts, but anything left in this game for the Canadiens will not be enough at all, ladies and gentlemen. Buffalo Sabres did exactly what they needed to do tonight, not only on the defense, but the offense was on attack, all cylinders firing. How many times can we say we see the Buffalo Sabres score 8 goals in the playoffs over a team like the Montreal Canadiens playing on the road? But as I've said, the Buffalo Sabres are kind of more of a road warrior team right now in 2026. Definitely the Legion of Doom on the road, the road warriors, the Buffalo Sabres have felt a lot more comfortable being in enemy territory and being the villains on the road. 1 minute left, ladies and gentlemen, in Game 6 between the Sabres and the Canadiens. 5-goal difference still. And as I've said, ladies and gentlemen, our next game on the schedule will be Game 7 in Buffalo Monday night, 7:30, I believe, right now, sitting in that time slot.
Actually, it started with Zucker making it 3-2 at the end of the first, but Benson's goal at the start of the second period, it was an onslaught. Now can you do this again? Can you play this simply, this straightforward, this direct, this fast? Do it at home. But, you know, the Canadiens,
and now Sabres, they just have to kill a minute. And this one is coming back to Buffalo, ladies and gentlemen, for Game 7. Building really clearing out now for the Montreal Canadiens. And with only 30 seconds now left in the game, ladies and gentlemen, we can definitely start saying our goodbyes and our finale for this video as the Buffalo Sabres will close out Game 6 in Montreal, bringing it back to Buffalo for Game 7 on Monday. There you go. You can see here, maybe if I can get a better look at the TV. Where's the score for you? 8-3 with the Sabres and the Canadiens. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is all the fat lady is going to sing in Montreal tonight. Thank you so much again for checking out my channel, spending some time with me tonight, watching hockey. Hockey night in Canada, Saturday night playoff action. Thank you again, everybody. All your support means so much to me. It's literally the reason that keeps me going each and every day. The Buffalo Sabres now celebrate with Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. We will see you for Game 7, ladies and gentlemen. Monday night in Buffalo. You see the Sabres getting to celebrate right there. Tage Thompson
Game 7 to try and match what Buffalo did.
Thank you once again hanging out with me tonight. Please enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Saturday night. Take care of yourself. If you're dealing with mental health, depression, suicidal thoughts, just like I have myself and still am, please, reach out to somebody. Try to ask for help. There's nothing wrong with asking for help when you need it. Please take care of yourself. Until next time. Peace, God.
It also means the Eastern Conference Final will not begin until Thursday at Carolina.
And the Carolina Hurricanes have an entire another week to just sit around and wait. Eastern Conference Final won't even start until next Thursday. Thank you once again, everybody, for checking out the channel, hanging out with me tonight. Until next time. Peace, God.
From Denver Wednesday night when the Western Conference Final gets underway. What a